In a quaint seaside village known for its shimmering sands and gentle waves, there was a legend about a magical starfish that lived in the deepest part of the ocean. This starfish was said to have the power to grant one heartfelt wish to anyone who proved their kindness and courage. One day, a young boy named Leo, who lived in the village, found his world turned upside down. His beloved dog, Max, had fallen ill and no remedy seemed to work. Leo had heard the old tales of the magical starfish and decided to seek it out in hopes of saving his friend. With a determined heart, Leo set out for the ocean just as the sun began to set. He navigated through the rocky shoreline and boarded a small boat that his father had built. As the boat glided into the open sea, the sky turned a beautiful shade of twilight, and the first stars began to twinkle. Leo sailed far beyond the village, guided only by the shimmering sea and the stories of the magical starfish. As night fell, the water beneath him began to glow with a soft, ethereal light. Leo knew he was close. He anchored his boat and dove into the water, swimming toward the mysterious light. As he descended into the depths of the ocean, the light grew brighter, revealing an underwater kingdom of colorful coral and schools of radiant fish. At the heart of this magical realm, Leo spotted the starfish resting on a bed of golden seaweed. Its 5 arms sparkled with hues of blue, green, and purple. "Hello," Leo called out, his voice bubbling through the water. "I've come to find the starfish and make a wish. My dog Max is very ill, and I need your help." The starfish stirred, its eyes twinkling with a gentle light. To receive the magic of the starfish, you must first prove your kindness and bravery. There are 3 tasks you must complete. Leo nodded eagerly. "I will do whatever it takes." The first task was to help a group of sea turtles that had become entangled in a mass of discarded fishing nets. Leo swam swiftly to their aid, carefully cutting away the nets and freeing the turtles. The grateful turtles swam in circles around him, guiding him with their gentle nudges toward the next task. The second task was to find a lost pearl that had been stolen by a mischievous octopus. The octopus, although playful, was known for hiding things in tricky places. Leo followed the octopus's playful movements and discovered the pearl nestled in a hidden cave. He returned the pearl to the grateful octopus, who rewarded him with a glowing seashell as a token of thanks. For the final task, Leo had to navigate through a dark underwater cavern filled with swirling currents and shadowy figures. With the light from the glowing seashell and the courage in his heart, Leo ventured through the cavern, using his wits to avoid the dangers and find the exit. When he emerged from the cavern, he saw the starfish waiting for him with a warm, welcoming glow. "You have completed the tasks with bravery and kindness. Your wish shall now be granted." The starfish waved its arms, and a soft, magical light enveloped Leo. The light surged through the ocean and traveled back to the shore where Max lay. As the light touched Max, his strength returned, and he stood up, wagging his tail and barking joyfully. Leo returned to the village, where he was greeted with cheers and celebration. Max was healthy and full of life once more, and the villagers marveled at Leo's bravery and the magic of the starfish. The starfish continued to dwell in its underwater kingdom, its magic a reminder of the power of kindness and courage. And whenever the village children looked out at the sea, they remembered the tale of Leo and the starfish's secret, knowing that even in the deepest depths, magic awaited those who truly believed. Once upon a time, in the enchanting kingdom of Eldoria, there was a forest unlike any other. Known as the Moonlit Grove, it was bathed in perpetual twilight, with silver light filtering through the trees, casting an ethereal glow. The forest was home to all manner of magical creatures and was protected by an ancient enchantment. At the heart of the Moonlit Grove stood a magnificent oak tree, and perched upon its highest branch was a single, radiant silver feather. This feather was said to grant one wish to anyone pure of heart who found it. In a small village on the edge of Eldoria lived a young girl named Aria. Aria was known for her kindness, her bright spirit, and her unwavering love for her ailing grandmother, who had raised her since she was a child. Her grandmother, once a vibrant and joyful woman, had fallen gravely ill, and no healer in the village could find a cure. The villagers spoke of the legendary silver feather and its magical wish, but no one had ever been brave enough to venture deep into the Moonlit Grove. Determined to save her grandmother, Arya decided to embark on the perilous journey to find the silver feather. With her grandmother's blessing and a heart full of hope, Arya set off early one morning, carrying only a small satchel with provisions and a locket containing a picture of her grandmother. As she entered the moonlit grove, the air grew cooler, and the silver light surrounded her like a gentle embrace. She walked cautiously, aware of the many stories of enchantments and mystical creatures that inhabited the forest. As she made her way deeper into the grove, she encountered a talking fox named Fenwick. "Who dares to wander the moonlit grove?" Fenwick asked, his eyes gleaming with curiosity. "I am Arya," she replied, "and I seek the silver feather to save my grandmother." Fenwick, moved by her determination and pure heart, decided to help her. "The path to the silver feather is fraught with challenges. But I will guide you." Their first trial came when they reached the Glade of Illusions, where the air shimmered with enchantments that created false paths and deceptive visions. Fenwick warned Arya to trust her heart and instincts rather than her eyes. With Fenwick by her side, Arya navigated the glade, ignoring the tempting illusions of easy routes and shortcuts. Next, they arrived at the River of Echoes, a wide, rushing stream with no visible bridge. The river's waters reflected not only the surroundings but also the innermost fears and doubts of those who looked into it. Arya saw visions of her grandmother's suffering, and for a moment, her resolve wavered. But Fenwick reminded her of her strength and the love that drove her. Summoning her courage, Arya found a series of stepping stones hidden just beneath the surface and carefully made her way across the river. Finally, they reached the enchanted meadow, filled with delicate, glowing flowers that sang in the breeze. In the center of the meadow stood the ancient oak tree, its branches reaching high into the sky. At the very top, the silver feather glistened in the moonlight. As Arya approached the tree, a gentle but commanding voice echoed through the meadow. It was the spirit of the oak tree. "Only those with a selfless heart may take the feather," the spirit warned. Arya, with Fenwick watching supportively, began to climb the oak. The climb was difficult, and her hands and feet ached, but her love for her grandmother drove her onward. When she finally reached the top, she grasped the silver feather, feeling its warmth and magic. As she descended, the spirit of the oak tree spoke again. "You have proven your heart's purity and bravery. Make your wish, and it shall be granted." Holding the feather close, Arya closed her eyes and whispered her wish, "I wish for my grandmother to be healthy and happy once more." The feather glowed brightly, and a soft breeze enveloped Arya, carrying her wish to the winds. With Fenwick by her side, Arya made her way back through the moonlit grove, her heart light with hope. When she returned to her village, she found her grandmother standing at the doorway, looking healthier and happier than she had in years. Tears of joy streamed down Arya's face as she embraced her grandmother, knowing that the magic of the silver feather had worked. The story of Arya's bravery and the enchanted silver feather spread throughout Eldoria, inspiring others with the power of love and selflessness. The moonlit grove remained a place of wonder and mystery, its silver light a beacon of hope for all who believed in the magic of the heart. And so, Arya and her grandmother lived happily ever after, their bond stronger than ever, and the kingdom of Eldoria thrived in the light of the moonlit forest. The end. In the heart of the Whispering Woods, where the trees seemed to tell secrets to those who listened closely, lay a quaint village named Willowbrook. The village was renowned for its serenity and charm, and its people lived in harmony with the forest. The villagers often spoke of a magical lantern that was said to grant a single wish each century to those who found it. The tale of the enchanted lantern had become legend, whispered around campfires and told to children as they drifted off to sleep. It was said that the lantern was hidden deep within the forest, protected by a series of challenges designed to test the heart and spirit of the seeker. One bright morning, a young girl named Amelia, with eyes as curious as the morning sun and a heart full of dreams, decided to seek out the legendary lantern. Her village had fallen on hard times, and Amelia wished to use the lantern's magic to bring prosperity and joy back to Willowbrook. With a backpack full of essentials and a heart full of determination, Amelia ventured into the Whispering Woods. As she walked, the trees seemed to part just for her, guiding her deeper into the forest. The first challenge she encountered was a babbling brook that flowed with sparkling, crystal-clear water. On the other side of the brook stood a wise old turtle named Thaddeus, who was known to be the guardian of the brook. Thaddeus spoke in a slow, deliberate manner. To cross the brook, you must solve a riddle. Only then will the path appear. Amelia nodded and listened intently as Thaddeus recited the riddle. I can fly without wings. I can cry without eyes. Whenever I go, darkness flies. What am I? Amelia thought for a moment and then answered confidently, a cloud. Thaddeus smiled, and with a nod of approval, the water of the brook parted to reveal a stone path that led across. Amelia carefully made her way to the other side. As she continued her journey, Amelia reached the second challenge, a dense thicket of brambles and thorns, which seemed almost impassable. Standing at the entrance was a gentle deer named Elara, whose eyes shone with kindness. Elara spoke softly, to pass through the thicket, you must show your compassion. There is a small bird trapped in the brambles. Free it, and the path will open. Amelia approached the thicket and found the tiny bird, its feathers entangled in the thorny branches. With great care and patience, Amelia freed the bird and gently placed it on her outstretched hand. The bird chirped gratefully before flying off, and as it did, the brambles parted to reveal a clear path. The final challenge took Amelia to a serene, moonlit clearing. In the center of the clearing was a beautiful, ancient oak tree with a hollow trunk. From within the hollow, a soft, melodic voice called out. The voice belonged to the Moonlight Fairy, who was the final guardian of the enchanted lantern. The Moonlight Fairy fluttered gracefully before Amelia and said, to find the lantern, you must perform a task of the heart. Share with me your most heartfelt wish. Amelia took a deep breath and spoke sincerely, my wish is to bring happiness and prosperity to my village, Willowbrook, so that everyone can live in peace and joy. The Moonlight Fairy's eyes sparkled with admiration. A wish made from the heart is a powerful thing. Follow me. The fairy led Amelia to a hidden alcove behind the oak tree, where the enchanted lantern rested on a pedestal bathed in moonlight. The lantern was adorned with intricate designs and glowed with a soft, warm light. Amelia reached out and took the lantern gently in her hands. The Moonlight Fairy nodded. You have proven yourself worthy of the lantern's magic. Make your wish, and it shall be granted. With a hopeful heart, Amelia whispered her wish into the lantern. The light within the lantern grew brighter and brighter until it enveloped the entire clearing. When the light finally faded, Amelia found herself back at the edge of the Whispering Woods. She returned to Willowbrook, and as she approached the village, she saw a wondrous transformation. The fields were lush with crops, the river sparkled with clear water, and the villagers greeted her with joyful smiles. The lantern's magic had indeed brought prosperity and happiness to Willowbrook. Amelia's bravery and pure-hearted wish became a cherished story in the village, and the enchanted lantern was placed in a special place of honor in the village square as a symbol of hope and the power of a kind heart. And so, Willowbrook thrived, and the legend of the enchanted lantern lived on, inspiring future generations to believe in the magic that lies within the power of a wish made from the heart. Once upon a time, in a quiet village nestled by the edge of an ancient forest, there was a peculiar shop known as the Lantern of Lost Wishes. The shop was run by an elderly woman named Mabel, who was renowned for her mysterious and enchanting collection of magical items. The centerpiece of the shop was a delicate lantern that glowed with a soft, golden light. The villagers believed that this lantern had the power to grant lost wishes and bring forgotten dreams to life. In this village lived a young boy named Oliver. Oliver was known for his boundless curiosity and his love of stories. Despite his cheerful demeanor, Oliver had a secret wish that had been buried deep within his heart for as long as he could remember. He wished to find his long-lost brother, Elias, who had disappeared many years ago. One chilly autumn evening, as the first stars began to twinkle in the twilight sky, Oliver decided to visit Mabel's shop. He hoped that the lantern might hold a clue to finding Elias. The shop was filled with the scent of old books and spices. And Mabel greeted Oliver with a warm smile. "Welcome, young Oliver," Mabel said kindly. "I sense that you seek something important." Oliver nodded, his heart pounding with hope and fear. "I want to find my brother, Elias. I've heard that your lantern can grant lost wishes. Can it help me?" Mabel's eyes twinkled with understanding. The Lantern of Lost Wishes has indeed brought hope to many. However, it can only reveal its magic to those who approach it with a pure heart and a sincere wish. If you are truly determined, you may find what you seek. Mabel handed Oliver a small, ornate key. This key will unlock the lantern's magic. But remember, the lantern reveals what you need, not necessarily what you expect. Approach it with an open heart and follow where it leads. Oliver thanked Mabel and, with the key in hand, made his way home. That night, under the light of the full moon, he carefully unlocked the lantern and watched as its golden light filled the room. As the lantern glowed brighter, Oliver noticed that it began to project shimmering images on the walls, images of distant places, hidden paths, and a figure that looked strikingly familiar. The images formed a map, showing a route through the ancient forest and leading to a secluded cabin. Oliver felt a surge of excitement and determination. The next morning, he set out on the journey outlined by the lantern, guided by the hope of finding Elias. The path through the forest was long and winding, but Oliver's heart remained steadfast. He followed the map's directions, encountering various challenges along the way: a deep river that he crossed using a fallen tree, a steep hill that he climbed with the help of a kind deer, and a dark cave that he navigated with a lantern he had brought along. At last, Oliver reached the secluded cabin shown on the map. It was a small, charming place surrounded by wildflowers and bathed in the golden light of the setting sun. As Oliver approached the cabin, he noticed a figure sitting on the porch, reading a book. His heart skipped a beat as he recognized the figure, Elias. Tears of joy filled Oliver's eyes as he called out to his brother. Elias looked up, and a look of astonishment and joy crossed his face. "Oliver? Is that you?" Elias exclaimed, rushing to embrace his brother. The siblings were reunited, their hearts overflowing with happiness. Elias explained that he had been living in the cabin for years, having been separated from the village due to a series of unfortunate events. He had always hoped to find his way back home but had been unable to. Oliver shared the story of how he had used the Lantern of Lost Wishes to find him. Together, they marveled at the magic of the lantern and the incredible journey that had brought them together. The two brothers returned to the village, where they were warmly welcomed back. The village celebrated their reunion with a grand feast, and the story of the Lantern of Lost Wishes became a cherished tale. The lantern continued to glow softly in Mabel's shop, a symbol of hope and the power of true wishes. Oliver and Elias were forever grateful for the magic that had reunited them and for the love that had guided them on their journey. And so, the village thrived with joy and unity, and the Lantern of Lost Wishes remained a beacon of dreams and the miracles that can happen when hearts are open and wishes are true. The end. Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and a shimmering lake, there was a secret garden that only appeared under the light of the full moon. The garden, known as the Moonlight Garden, was said to hold wonders and enchantments that could change the fate of anyone who visited it. The villagers spoke of its beauty and magic in hushed tones, and many dreamed of discovering its secrets. In this village lived a young girl named Lily. Lily was known for her curiosity and kindness. She spent her days helping her family and her evenings gazing at the stars, dreaming of exploring the Moonlight Garden. Her grandmother, who had often spoken of the garden's magic, had passed down a tale of how a pure-hearted person could find the garden and make a wish that might come true. One night, as the full moon rose high in the sky, bathing the village in its silvery light, Lily decided that it was time to find the Moonlight Garden. She put on her warmest cloak, took a small lantern with her, and set off towards the edge of the village where the forest began. The forest was serene and magical under the moonlight. The trees seemed to sparkle, and the path was lit by delicate fireflies. As Lily walked deeper into the forest, she noticed that the moonlight was growing stronger and more vibrant. It guided her towards a small, ancient gate hidden behind thick vines and ivy. With a deep breath, Lily pushed open the gate and stepped through. she found herself in the Moonlight Garden, a place of breathtaking beauty. The garden was filled with flowers that glowed softly in various shades of blue, silver, and white. The air was filled with the sweet fragrance of blooming moonflowers, and the gentle hum of magical creatures flitting about added to the garden's enchantment. In the center of the garden stood a magnificent, old oak tree with branches that seemed to reach up and touch the stars. Beneath the tree was a large, sparkling pool of water that reflected the moonlight like a mirror. Lily approached the pool and saw that the water was clear and calm, with shimmering patterns dancing on its surface. As Lily knelt beside the pool, she noticed a beautiful, silver locket lying on the edge of the water. It was intricately designed with tiny stars and crescent moons. She picked up the locket and opened it, revealing a small, glowing pearl inside. The moment she touched the pearl, a gentle voice spoke from the locket. "Welcome, Lily. You have found the Moonlight Garden. The magic of this place is here to help those with pure hearts. You may make a single wish, and it will be granted." Lily thought carefully about her wish. She thought of her family, her friends, and the village she loved. The village had been struggling recently, and many were in need of hope and happiness. With a heart full of compassion, Lily made her wish. "I wish for my village to be blessed with joy and prosperity, so that everyone can find happiness and comfort." The locket glowed warmly, and the pearl's light spread throughout the garden. The garden itself seemed to respond to Lily's wish. The flowers glowed even brighter, and the gentle hum of magical creatures grew louder. The light from the garden reached beyond the forest, touching the village. As Lily made her way back to the village, she noticed that the once fading crops were now lush and green, and the marketplace was bustling with activity. The villagers were laughing and celebrating, their faces glowing with joy and relief. The transformation was nothing short of miraculous, and the village thrived with renewed energy and hope. When Lily returned home, her family and friends embraced her with gratitude. They celebrated her bravery and the magic of the Moonlight Garden. The story of Lily's visit to the garden and her selfless wish became a cherished tale, passed down through generations. The Moonlight Garden remained a secret, known only to those who had hearts filled with kindness and hope. It continued to be a place of wonder and magic, appearing only under the light of the full moon to remind those who visited of the power of compassion and the beauty of selfless wishes. And so, under the gentle glow of the moon and the enchantment of the Moonlight Garden, the village lived in harmony and happiness, forever grateful for the magic that had brought them together and the kindness of a young girl who had wished for their joy. Once upon a time, in a tranquil valley surrounded by majestic mountains and lush forests, there was a hidden village known as Greenleaf. This village was famous for its harmony with nature and its enchanted garden, which was said to hold the secret to eternal spring. In Greenleaf lived a young woman named Lily, known for her deep love of nature and her ability to make flowers bloom with just a touch. Every day, she tended to the enchanted garden, ensuring that its magical beauty was preserved. Despite her content life, Lily longed to discover the true secret behind the garden's eternal spring. One day, while exploring the farthest corner of the garden, Lily found an ancient, intricately carved stone hidden beneath a blanket of ivy. The stone had an inscription that read, "To find the heart of spring, one must seek the lost bloom and prove their heart's true worth." Intrigued, Lily decided to embark on a journey to uncover the heart of spring, which she believed was the key to understanding the garden's magic. She packed a small satchel with provisions and set out on her quest, guided by the cryptic message. Lily's journey took her through enchanted forests and over rolling hills. Along the way, she encountered various magical creatures, a wise old owl who shared valuable advice, a mischievous sprite who played tricks on her, and a gentle deer who offered her guidance through the dense woods. One evening, as the sun set and the sky turned a brilliant orange, Lily arrived at a shimmering lake. At its center was an island covered in beautiful, glowing flowers. On the island stood a magnificent tree, its branches adorned with twinkling lights. Lily felt a sense of wonder and knew she had reached a crucial part of her journey. However, the way to the island was guarded by a riddle-spouting fox. The fox, with its golden fur and sharp eyes, looked at Lily and said, "To cross the waters and reach the heart of spring, you must answer my riddle. Only then will the path be revealed." Lily nodded, ready for the challenge. The fox posed the riddle. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I? Lily pondered the riddle carefully. After a moment, she replied, an echo. The fox's eyes sparkled with approval. You have answered correctly. The path is now open. With a graceful wave of its tail, the fox vanished, and a path of glowing stones appeared, leading Lily across the lake. As she walked along the path, she felt the magic of the heart of spring drawing nearer. When she reached the island, Lily approached the magnificent tree. At its base, nestled among the roots, was a single, radiant flower. It was unlike any she had ever seen. Its petals shimmered with all the colors of the rainbow, and its center glowed with a warm, golden light. This was the lost bloom, the heart of spring. As Lily reached out to touch the flower, a gentle voice spoke from the tree. To truly understand the magic of the heart of spring, you must prove your heart's worth. Show me the kindness and love you have for the world. Lily closed her eyes and thought about all the creatures she had met and the beauty she had witnessed on her journey. She remembered the joy she found in helping others and the love she had for her enchanted garden. With a heartfelt promise, she said, I wish for the heart of spring to bring joy and harmony to all who seek its magic. The flower's light grew brighter, enveloping Lily in a warm, golden glow. The tree's branches swayed gently, and a soft, melodious hum filled the air. Lily felt a profound sense of peace and connection to the world around her. The tree's voice echoed softly, your heart's true worth is shown in your selflessness and love. The magic of the heart of spring shall now return with you, bringing eternal spring and harmony to Greenleaf. Lily returned to her village with the heart of spring, and the enchanted garden bloomed more vibrantly than ever before. The magic of the garden spread throughout Greenleaf, filling the village with joy and prosperity. The villagers celebrated Lily's bravery and kindness, and her story became a cherished legend in Greenleaf. The enchanted garden continued to flourish, and the heart of spring's magic remained a symbol of love and harmony for generations to come. And so, Lily and the people of Greenleaf lived happily ever after, surrounded by the eternal beauty of their enchanted garden. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a far-off kingdom surrounded by rolling hills and sparkling rivers, there was an enchanted forest. This forest was famous for its magical creatures and hidden wonders. Trees whispered secrets, and flowers sang gentle lullabies. But there was one creature who lived there that stood out among the rest, a tiny squirrel named Pip. Pip was no ordinary squirrel. He had a bushy tail that sparkled with a faint, golden glow, and his bright eyes reflected the light of the moon. He was known for his bravery, even though he was small. The other animals in the forest admired him, but they often worried for him because of his daring spirit. One day, a dark cloud covered the sun, and the forest fell into an eerie silence. The magical enchantments that kept the forest vibrant were slowly fading. The once green leaves began to wilt, and the flowers lost their colors. The creatures of the forest were frightened, for they knew something was terribly wrong. The wise old owl, Eldora, who was the keeper of ancient secrets, called for a meeting. She perched high on her favorite oak tree and looked down at the assembled animals. The enchantments of the forest are fading because the Heartstone, which keeps our magic alive, has been stolen, Eldora hooted. We need someone brave enough to find it and restore the balance. Pip's heart raced. He knew this was his chance to prove his courage. Without hesitation, he stepped forward. I will find the Heartstone, Pip declared, his voice trembling but resolute. Eldora's wise eyes softened. Very well, Pip. But remember, the journey will be perilous. You will face many challenges, but trust in yourself and the friends you make along the way. With a nod, Pip set off on his quest. He traveled through the forest, his paws patting softly over the fallen leaves. As he ventured deeper into the woods, he encountered a series of trials. First, Pip reached the River of Echoes, which was known for its tricky currents and illusions. The river's surface shimmered with 1,000 reflections. Pip had to find the true path to cross. He remembered Eldora's words and took a deep breath, trusting his instincts. He followed the sound of a gentle melody that seemed to call to him, leading him safely to the other side. Next, Pip faced the dark caves of shadow. The caves were filled with whispers and moving shadows that could lead any traveler astray. Pip had to rely on his sharp senses and intuition. He remembered the stories of his elders about the importance of listening to the forest's whispers. Using a small, enchanted lantern given to him by the wise owl, Pip navigated through the darkness and emerged on the other side. Finally, Pip reached the peak of the misty mountain, where the Heartstone was said to be hidden. The climb was steep and treacherous, but Pip's determination kept him going. As he neared the top, he found himself in the presence of a fierce dragon named Scorch. The dragon guarded the Heartstone with a fiery breath and a stern gaze. Scorch roared, "Why do you seek the Heartstone, little Squirtle?" Pip stood tall, despite his small size. "I seek the Heartstone to restore the magic of the forest and save my home. I am not afraid, for my heart is pure and my mission is true." Scorch, surprised by Pip's bravery, softened. Many have tried to take the Heartstone, but they were driven by greed or fear. You are the first to come with a noble purpose. The dragon then shared a secret. The Heartstone is not just a gem but a symbol of courage and kindness. It chooses its protector based on the heart's worth. You have proven yourself worthy. With a deep, resonant roar, Scorch allowed Pip to take the Heartstone. As Pip held the glowing gem in his tiny paws, he felt a surge of warmth and strength. The Heartstone's magic began to spread, revitalizing the forest below. Pip made his way back, the Heartstone restoring the colors and life to the forest. The animals cheered as the enchantments returned, and the once silent forest came alive with joy. Eldora greeted Pip with pride. "You have done it, brave Pip. You have saved us all." Pip smiled, his golden tail shimmering in the sunlight. He had faced many challenges, but it was his courage, kindness, and belief in himself that had led him to success. From that day on, Pip was celebrated as a hero, and the enchanted forest thrived more beautifully than ever before. Pip continued to live among his friends, always ready for another adventure, and he learned that true bravery comes from the heart. And so, the enchanted forest remained a place of magic and wonder, thanks to the bravery of a small but courageous squirrel named Pip. The end. Once upon a time, in the idyllic kingdom of Eldoria, there was a deep and mystical forest called the Whispering Woods. The forest was known for its ancient trees, shimmering streams, and most of all, its guardian, a majestic silver phoenix named Leora. Leora was a mythical creature with feathers that shone like the moon and eyes that glowed with wisdom. Her role was to protect the forest and ensure balance and harmony within it. One fateful day, a darkness began to creep into the Whispering Woods. The streams dried up, the trees withered, and a sense of despair settled over the land. The source of this darkness was a cursed amulet, hidden deep within the heart of the forest. It had been lost for centuries, but its malevolent power had awakened, threatening to engulf the entire kingdom. The wise and gentle King Alden of Eldoria knew that to save his kingdom, someone needed to find and destroy the cursed amulet. He called upon the bravest and most selfless of his subjects to undertake this perilous quest. Among those who answered the call was a young girl named Arya. Arya was known throughout the kingdom for her kind heart, bravery, and unwavering determination. Arya had grown up listening to tales of the Whispering Woods and the Silver Phoenix. She felt a deep connection to the forest and a strong desire to restore its beauty and balance. With a heart full of courage, she set out on her quest, carrying nothing but her father's old sword and a small, enchanted lantern that glowed with a soft, comforting light. As Arya ventured deeper into the Whispering Woods, she encountered various challenges and trials. The once friendly creatures of the forest had become hostile under the influence of the cursed amulet. Arya used her wit and bravery to navigate through these obstacles, always guided by the soft glow of her lantern. One evening, as the moon cast a pale light over the forest, Arya found herself at the edge of a dark, forbidding glade. She knew this must be the heart of the forest where the cursed amulet lay hidden. However, before she could enter, a brilliant flash of silver light descended from the sky. It was Leora, the silver phoenix, her feathers gleaming with an otherworldly light. Leora landed gracefully in front of Arya and spoke in a voice that was both gentle and powerful. "Young one, why do you seek the heart of the forest?" Arya bowed respectfully and replied, "Great Leora, I seek to destroy the cursed amulet that is poisoning our land and restore the balance to the Whispering Woods." Leora looked into Arya's eyes and saw the sincerity and determination in her heart. "Very well, brave one. To defeat the darkness, you must find the silver feather. It is the only thing powerful enough to destroy the cursed amulet. But beware, the feather is hidden in the Cave of Echoes, guarded by the Spirit of Shadows." Arya thanked Leora and continued her journey, guided by the Silver Phoenix's wisdom. She soon arrived at the Cave of Echoes, a dark and eerie place filled with the whispers of ancient spirits. The Spirit of Shadows emerged from the darkness, a formidable being with eyes that glowed like embers. To test her worthiness, the Spirit of Shadows challenged Arya to a duel of wits. "Answer my riddle, and the silver feather shall be yours," it said. "Fail, and you will be lost in the shadows forever." The spirit then asked, "I can fly without wings. I can cry without eyes. Wherever I go, darkness flies. What am I?" Arya pondered the riddle carefully. She thought about the elements of the forest and the nature of shadows. After a moment of deep reflection, she answered, "You are a cloud." The Spirit of Shadows smiled and nodded, impressed by her wisdom. "You have answered correctly, brave one. The silver feather is yours." It handed her a gleaming feather that shimmered with a radiant light. With the silver feather in hand, Arya made her way back to the heart of the forest. The cursed amulet lay in a dark, twisted shrine, its malevolent energy pulsating through the air. Arya held the silver feather high and, with a surge of determination, plunged it into the amulet. A blinding light erupted from the feather, engulfing the amulet in a blaze of pure, white fire. The darkness began to dissolve, and a sense of peace and balance returned to the Whispering Woods. The streams flowed once more, the trees regained their lush green foliage, and the creatures of the forest were freed from the amulet's curse. Leora, the Silver Phoenix, appeared once again, her eyes filled with gratitude and pride. "You have done it, Arya. You have restored the balance and saved our land. The Whispering Woods and all of Eldoria owe you a great debt." Arya returned to the village as a hero, celebrated by all for her bravery and selflessness. The Whispering Woods flourished, its beauty and magic restored, and the tale of the young girl who saved the kingdom became a cherished legend. And so, Eldoria thrived once more, a land of harmony and enchantment, forever grateful to the brave heart who had ventured into the darkness and brought back the light. The end. Once upon a time, in a charming village bordered by lush forests and rolling hills, there was a hidden garden known only to a few. This garden, known as the Moonlit Garden, was said to bloom with flowers that only opened under the light of the full moon. It was rumored that these flowers had magical properties, but the garden was shrouded in mystery and enchantment. In this village lived a curious and kind-hearted boy named Finn. Finn was fascinated by the tales of the Moonlit Garden and dreamed of discovering its secrets. He often gazed at the moon and wondered what wonders it might hold. His grandmother, who was the village storyteller, had told him stories about the garden's magic and the guardian who protected it. One evening, as the full moon rose high in the sky, casting a silver glow over the landscape, Finn decided it was time to find the Moonlit Garden. Armed with a lantern and a small notebook, he set off toward the edge of the forest where the garden was rumored to be hidden. As Finn ventured deeper into the forest, he followed a faint, melodic sound that seemed to float through the trees. The music guided him along a winding path until he reached an old, ivy-covered gate. With a deep breath, Finn pushed open the gate, and a breathtaking sight unfolded before him. The Moonlit Garden was more beautiful than he had ever imagined. Flowers of every color and shape bloomed under the moonlight, their petals glowing softly. There were roses that shimmered like silver, daisies with golden centers, and lilies that seemed to sparkle like stars. In the center of the garden stood a tall, graceful figure, an elegant fairy with wings that glowed like the moon. "Welcome, Finn," the fairy said with a voice like a gentle breeze. "I am Leora, the guardian of the moonlit garden. Few have ever found their way here. What brings you to our enchanted haven?" Finn's eyes widened with awe. "I've always been fascinated by the stories of this garden. I wanted to see it for myself and learn about its magic." Leora smiled warmly. "The moonlit garden holds many wonders, but it is not only a place of beauty. It has a special purpose. Each flower here represents a dream or wish. To keep the garden flourishing, we must ensure that dreams are nurtured and fulfilled." Finn looked around, seeing the vibrant flowers and feeling a sense of wonder. "How can I help?" Leora's eyes sparkled. "There is a special flower here, the moonflower, which has not bloomed for many years. It is said that it blooms only when a wish from a pure heart is made. If you can find the moonflower and make a wish for something truly meaningful, it will help restore balance to the garden." Determined to help, Finn searched the garden with care. He examined every flower and listened to the whispers of the breeze, hoping to find the elusive moonflower. After a while, he spotted a single, delicate flower hidden among the tall grasses. Its petals were a deep, shimmering blue, and it seemed to glow with a gentle light. Finn approached the moonflower and knelt beside it. With sincerity and thoughtfulness, he made his wish. "I wish for the dreams of everyone in the village to come true and for their hearts to be filled with joy and hope." As Finn finished his wish, the moonflower's petals began to open, and a soft, radiant light filled the garden. The light spread out, touching every flower, and the entire moonlit garden began to shimmer and glow more brightly than ever before. Leora appeared beside Finn, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Your wish has restored the garden's magic. The moonflower's light will now nurture the dreams and hopes of all who believe in the magic of the moonlit garden." Finn felt a warm sense of fulfillment. Leora presented him with a small, silver pendant in the shape of a moon. "This pendant will remind you of the magic you've helped restore. It will guide you whenever you need to find your way." With a heart full of joy and a newfound sense of wonder, Finn thanked Leora and made his way back to the village. As he walked, the pendant around his neck seemed to glow softly, and the moonlit path illuminated his journey. When Finn returned to his village, he shared the story of the moonlit garden and the magic it held. The villagers were inspired by his tale, and the magic of the moonlit garden seemed to touch their lives. Dreams and hopes flourished, and the village became a place of happiness and light. Every full moon, Finn would return to the edge of the forest, gazing at the moonlit night, knowing that the magic of the moonlit garden was always with him. And so, the garden's enchantment lived on, a reminder that even the smallest wish could create the most wondrous magic. The end. Once upon a time, in a land where the skies were always blue and the meadows were filled with wildflowers, there lay the kingdom of Luminera. It was a realm of peace and prosperity, where magic was woven into the fabric of everyday life. At the heart of this kingdom was a village named Sunvale, known for its golden fields and the warmth of its people. In Sunvale lived a young girl named Lila. Lila was known throughout the village for her kindness and her curiosity about the world beyond the village borders. She lived with her father, a humble blacksmith, and her mother, a weaver of enchanting tapestries. Lila's favorite companion was her pet raven, Corvus, who was as curious as she was and often helped her discover hidden quarters of the village and the surrounding forest. One sunny morning, as Lila and Corvus explored the edge of the forest, they came across an old, weathered map half buried in the soil. The map depicted a path leading deep into the enchanted forest, a place whispered about in bedtime stories but rarely visited. At the center of the map was an illustration of a magnificent, glowing crystal known as the Heart of Luminera. Legend said that the Heart of Luminera was a source of immense magic and could grant a single wish to the one who found it. Excited by the discovery, Lila showed the map to her parents. Her mother, with a worried look, warned her of the dangers that lay within the enchanted forest. But her father, seeing the determination in Lila's eyes, gave her a small, sturdy dagger and a pouch of provisions. "You must be brave and wise, Lila," he said. "Remember, true courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. With Corvus perched on her shoulder, Lila set off on her adventure. The map led her through winding paths and over sparkling streams. As she ventured deeper into the forest, the trees grew taller and their leaves whispered secrets of old. Soon, she arrived at the first challenge, a vast, shimmering lake with no visible way to cross it. Suddenly, a graceful swan emerged from the reeds. "To cross the lake, you must answer my riddle," the swan said. "What has keys but can't open locks, has space but no room, and can enter but not go outside?" Lila thought for a moment, then smiled. "A keyboard," she replied confidently. The swan nodded, and a bridge of light appeared across the lake. Lila and Corvus crossed safely and continued their journey. They soon reached a dense part of the forest where the sunlight barely reached the ground. In the midst of the darkness, they encountered a wise old owl sitting on a low branch. "To proceed, you must show your wisdom," the owl hooted. "Tell me, what is always in front of you but can't be seen?" Lila pondered the question, then said, "The future." The owl flapped its wings in approval, and a narrow path lit up, guiding them through the dark woods. As they followed the path, they reached a meadow filled with colorful flowers. In the center of the meadow was a beautiful, but sorrowful, unicorn with a broken horn. The unicorn spoke, its voice soft and melodic. "To find the heart of Luminara, you must demonstrate compassion. My horn is broken, and I cannot heal without it." Moved by the unicorn's plight, Lila took out her father's dagger and carefully crafted a splint for the broken horn using sturdy branches and her mother's woven fabric. The unicorn's horn began to glow and then magically mended itself. "You have shown great compassion," the unicorn said, now radiant with health. "Climb onto my back, and I will take you to the heart of Luminara." Lila and Corvus climbed onto the unicorn, and in a flash of light, they were transported to a hidden glade where the heart of Luminara rested on a pedestal of crystal. The heart was even more magnificent than the stories had described, glowing with an ethereal light that filled the glade with warmth and magic. As Lila approached the heart, a dark figure emerged from the shadows. It was the sorcerer Malachi, who had been searching for the heart of Luminara for his own nefarious purposes. "That heart belongs to me," he snarled. Lila stood her ground, her hand gripping the dagger's hilt. "The heart of Luminara belongs to all who seek it with a pure heart," she declared. Malachi laughed, but before he could cast a spell, Corvus swooped down and pecked at his eyes, causing him to stumble backward. Lila seized the moment and touched the heart, making her wish, "I wish for the power to protect my kingdom from all harm." The heart of Luminara glowed even brighter, and a wave of magic spread throughout the forest, banishing Malachi and healing the land. The heart then transformed into a beautiful necklace, which Lila placed around her neck. With the heart's magic now protecting Luminara, Lila returned to Sunvale, greeted by cheers and celebrations. Her bravery and compassion had saved the kingdom, and she was hailed as a hero. From that day on, Lila continued to explore and protect her kingdom, always guided by the lessons she had learned. The story of her journey and the heart of Luminara became a legend, inspiring generations to come. And so, the kingdom of Luminara lived happily ever after, flourishing under the watchful eye of their brave young hero. Once upon a time, in a land where the mountains kissed the clouds and rivers sparkled like diamonds, there was a peaceful kingdom named Eldoria. Eldoria was renowned for its lush meadows and crystal-clear lakes, but it was also famous for a mysterious legend, the tale of the Midnight Star. According to the legend, the Midnight Star was a magical gem that shone with the light of the moon. It was said to grant a single wish to anyone who could find it. However, the Midnight Star had been hidden away for centuries, lost in the depths of the enchanted cavern, which was said to be guarded by powerful enchantments and mystical creatures. In the heart of Eldoria lived a brave young girl named Lila. Lila had always been curious about the legends of her land and had a heart full of dreams. Her greatest wish was to help her village, which had been struggling with a long drought. The rivers had dried up, and the fields were parched. Desperate to restore life to her home, Lila decided to seek out the Midnight Star. One crisp morning, with a small satchel of supplies and a heart full of hope, Lila set off towards the enchanted cavern. As she approached the cavern's entrance, a cool mist surrounded her, and the air crackled with magic. The entrance was framed by ancient, twisting vines and guarded by a talking raven named Corvus. "Greetings, traveler," croaked Corvus. "What brings you to the enchanted cavern?" "I seek the midnight star," Lila replied, her voice steady. "My village is suffering, and I wish to help them." Corvus tilted his head, his eyes gleaming with intrigue. "To find the midnight star, you must pass 3 trials. Are you prepared?" Lila nodded resolutely. "I am ready." The first trial was a vast, labyrinthine garden filled with towering hedges and blooming flowers. Each step she took seemed to lead her in circles. Lila remembered a lesson her grandmother had taught her about listening to the whispers of nature. She closed her eyes and listened carefully. The flowers hummed a gentle melody, guiding her towards the heart of the garden. Following the song, Lila found her way through the maze and emerged into a serene clearing. The second trial was a chasm spanned by a narrow, swaying bridge made of glowing moonlight. Below, the abyss was filled with swirling mist. As Lila stepped onto the bridge, it began to sway dangerously. Her heart raced, but she remembered her grandmother's stories about the strength of the moonlight. Focusing on the light's calming glow, she carefully and steadily crossed the bridge, reaching the other side safely. The final trial was the most daunting. Lila found herself in a cavern where the walls shimmered with 1,000 sparkling gems. In the center of the cavern was a pedestal holding the midnight star, but it was surrounded by a circle of shadowy fog. From the fog emerged a guardian spirit, a majestic creature with shimmering wings and a stern gaze. To claim the midnight star, the guardian spirit intoned, "You must prove your heart's true worth. Show me that you are selfless and pure." Lila thought deeply about what the village needed most. She knew that finding the midnight star for her own gain was not enough. With a deep breath, she spoke, "I seek the midnight star not for myself, but for my village. I wish to bring back the life and joy that has been lost to the drought. If this star can restore my home, then it should be used for that purpose." The guardian spirit's eyes softened, and the shadowy fog began to lift. The midnight star glowed even brighter, illuminating the cavern with its gentle, silver light. The spirit nodded in approval. "You have shown that your heart is pure and selfless. The midnight star is yours to use." Lila carefully took the midnight star from the pedestal, feeling its warmth and energy. With a grateful heart, she made her way back to her village. As she approached Eldoria, she held the star high above her head. A brilliant light emanated from the gem, and as it touched the land, the rivers began to flow once more. And the fields bloomed with vibrant flowers. The villagers rejoiced, their spirits lifted by the return of life and prosperity. They celebrated Lila's bravery and selflessness, knowing that her pure heart had saved them from their hardships. From that day on, Eldoria flourished, and the legend of the Midnight Star became a tale of hope and courage. Lila's name was remembered with great admiration, and her story was told for generations as a reminder of the power of selflessness and the magic of believing in one's dreams. And so, the kingdom of Eldoria thrived, and the Midnight Star continued to shine brightly, a beacon of hope and magic. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a vibrant kingdom nestled between towering mountains and sparkling rivers, there was a small village known for its extraordinary gardens. Among its inhabitants was a young girl named Lyra, known for her unmatched gift with plants. Her garden was the most beautiful in the land, with flowers that danced in the breeze and fruits that glowed like gems. One crisp autumn day, as Lyra was tending to her garden, a mysterious fog rolled into the village. It was thick and silvery, and with it came a chill that made the flowers wilt and the fruits dim. The villagers were alarmed and puzzled, as the fog seemed to sap the life from everything it touched. Lyra decided to investigate. Guided by her instincts, she ventured into the heart of the fog, where she discovered a hidden grove she had never seen before. At its center stood a magnificent, ancient tree with silver leaves and a trunk that shimmered with an otherworldly light. An old woman with a cloak woven from moonbeams appeared beside the tree. She introduced herself as Selene, the guardian of the enchanted grove. "This fog is a sign of a great imbalance," Selene explained. "The tree of eternal bloom, which maintains the harmony between our world and the magic of the forest, has been cursed. Only someone with a heart full of purity and courage can lift the curse." Lyra's heart pounded with determination. "What must I do to help?" Selene handed her a golden compass with intricate engravings. "This compass will guide you to 3 enchanted flowers hidden in the forest. Each one holds a piece of the spell needed to break the curse. But beware, for each flower is guarded by a challenge that will test your spirit." Lyra took the compass and ventured into the forest. Her first destination was a clearing filled with enormous mushrooms. The compass pointed to the tallest mushroom, where she found a glowing, azure flower guarded by a fiery salamander. The salamander challenged her with a riddle: "What can travel around the world while staying in a corner?" Lyra thought for a moment and replied, "A stamp." Impressed by her wisdom, the salamander allowed her to take the flower. The compass led her next to a crystal-clear lake where a delicate, pink flower floated on a lily pad. However, a mischievous water sprite blocked her path. The sprite challenged her to a game of wits. If she lost, she would be trapped in the lake forever. Lyra, using her knowledge and quick thinking, solved the sprite's riddles and was granted the flower. Finally, the compass guided her to a dense thicket where an ancient, emerald flower lay guarded by a wise old owl. The owl asked her to prove her kindness by helping a lost fawn find its way back to its family. Lyra gently guided the fawn through the forest, and the owl, satisfied with her compassion, allowed her to take the final flower. With all 3 enchanted flowers in hand, Lyra returned to the grove. Selene instructed her to place the flowers around the base of the tree of eternal bloom and recite a spell of renewal. As Lyra completed the spell, the fog began to lift, and vibrant colors returned to the forest. The tree of eternal bloom radiated a brilliant light, restoring balance and harmony to the land. The villagers celebrated Lyra's bravery and kindness with a grand feast. The once fading garden flourished anew, more beautiful than ever, and the magical harmony of the forest was preserved. From that day forward, Lyra was known not only as a gifted gardener but also as a heroine who had restored the magic of the land. She continued to tend her garden, now blessed with the enchantments she had helped restore, and lived a life filled with wonder and joy. And so, the kingdom thrived in its renewed harmony, forever grateful to the girl with a heart full of courage and a love for the magic of nature. Once upon a time, in a kingdom nestled between misty mountains and sparkling rivers, there was a small village called Bramblewood. Bramblewood was known for its lush meadows and friendly people, but its most treasured possession was a legendary artifact, the Golden Compass. This magical compass was said to guide its bearer to their heart's true desire. For years, the Golden Compass had been kept in the village's ancient tower, guarded by a wise old keeper named Master Finn. The compass had always pointed true, guiding many villagers in their quests and adventures. But as time passed, its magic began to fade, and the compass's needle no longer moved with certainty. One day, a young and curious girl named Lyra arrived in Bramblewood. Lyra was known for her adventurous spirit and her love of stories. When she heard about the Golden Compass and its fading magic, she felt a strong urge to help. She believed that the compass's magic was tied to the dreams and wishes of the villagers, and she decided to seek out the source of the problem. Lyra approached Master Finn and asked, "How can I restore the magic of the Golden Compass?" Master Finn looked at her kindly. "The compass's power wanes because it has lost its connection to the dreams of those it has guided. To restore it, you must journey to the enchanted lake at the edge of the kingdom. There, you will find the Moonstone, which holds the key to renewing the compass's magic. But be wary, the journey is not without peril." Determined, Lyra set off on her quest. She traveled through dense forests and over rolling hills, guided by the last faint glimmer of the compass. Along her journey, she faced several challenges. First, Lyra encountered a deep chasm with no visible way across. As she pondered her predicament, she noticed a series of stepping stones appearing and disappearing in the chasm. By carefully timing her steps, she managed to cross safely. Next, she reached the Whispering Forest, where the trees seemed to whisper riddles and secrets. To navigate through the forest, Lyra had to solve a riddle posed by the trees. I am taken from a mine, and shut up in a wooden case, from which I am never released, and yet I am used by almost every person. What am I? Lyra thought hard and answered, a pencil. The trees parted, revealing a path to the enchanted lake. As she arrived, she saw the moonstone resting on a pedestal in the center of the lake. To reach it, she had to cross a series of floating lily pads. Each pad glowed softly, but some were unstable and would sink if she stepped on them. With careful balance and a steady heart, Lyra crossed the lily pads and reached the moonstone. As she touched it, the stone began to glow brightly, and a shimmering bridge of light appeared, leading her back to the shore. Lyra returned to Bramblewood with the moonstone, which she placed alongside the golden compass. As the moonstone's light touched the compass, the needle began to spin with renewed energy, glowing with a warm, golden light. The compass's magic was restored, and it now pointed true with unwavering certainty. The villagers rejoiced, grateful to Lyra for her bravery and determination. They celebrated with a grand feast and honored Lyra with a special ceremony. Master Finn approached Lyra and said, "You have not only restored the compass's magic but also reminded us of the importance of dreams and hope. The golden compass will now guide future generations with its renewed power." As the festivities continued, Lyra felt a deep sense of fulfillment. She had not only achieved her goal but had also learned the value of perseverance and the power of following one's heart. With a heart full of joy, Lyra bid farewell to the villagers and continued her adventures, carrying with her the lessons she had learned and the memories of her quest. The golden compass remained a cherished symbol of hope and guidance in Bramblewood, its magic forever intertwined with the dreams and aspirations of those who sought its wisdom. And so, Bramblewood flourished, guided by the golden compass and the spirit of adventure that Lyra had rekindled. The village thrived under the watchful glow of the compass, its light a beacon of hope for all who ventured forth. Once upon a time, in a serene valley surrounded by towering mountains, there was a charming village called Mistwood. Mistwood was known for its enchanting fog that rolled in each morning, giving the village a mystical air. At the center of Mistwood stood an ancient clock tower, which the villagers believed held the secret to their magical fog. In this village lived a bright and adventurous girl named Elara. Elara was fascinated by the clock tower and its mysterious workings. Her grandmother had once told her stories about the timekeeper, a magical being who controlled the flow of time and the mystical fog. According to legend, the timekeeper's magical hourglass had been lost centuries ago, and with it, the true power of the fog. One foggy morning, as Elara was exploring the village, she stumbled upon a hidden compartment in the clock tower's base. Inside, she found an old, ornate key with an inscription: "To find the timekeeper's treasure, seek the heart of the enchanted forest when the moon is full." Determined to uncover the mystery, Elara decided to set out on a quest. That night, the full moon cast a silver glow over Mistwood, guiding her toward the enchanted forest. The forest was known for its magical creatures and hidden paths, and Elara was both excited and a bit nervous about the journey ahead. As she ventured into the forest, the moonlight illuminated her path. She soon encountered a wise old owl perched on a low branch. The owl's eyes glowed with a soft, golden light. "Welcome, traveler," the owl said in a deep, soothing voice. "To find the timekeeper's treasure, you must complete 3 trials. Only then will you find the heart of the forest. The first trial is the trial of light." Elara was led to a glade where she saw a large, glowing crystal encased in a protective barrier of shadows. The owl explained that to dispel the shadows, Elara had to find and place 5 enchanted lanterns around the crystal. Each lantern had a different color and emitted a unique light. Elara carefully placed each lantern in its designated spot, and the shadows receded, revealing the glowing crystal. The second trial was the trial of sound. Elara entered a meadow filled with shimmering, musical flowers. The flowers played a gentle melody, and the owl told her to listen carefully. The melody contained a hidden pattern that Elara had to replicate using a set of magical chimes provided by the owl. By carefully mimicking the melody, Alara unlocked a hidden pathway leading deeper into the forest. The final trial was the trial of wisdom. Alara arrived at a beautiful, ancient tree with a door in its trunk. The door was adorned with intricate carvings in a riddle. I have cities, but no houses. I have mountains, but no trees. I have water, but no fish. What am I? Alara thought hard and answered, a map. The door creaked open, revealing a hidden chamber. Inside the chamber, Alara found the timekeeper's hourglass, its sands shimmering with an ethereal light. As she approached, a soft, melodious voice spoke. It was the timekeeper, a gentle spirit who had been waiting for someone with a pure heart to restore the balance of time and magic. Brave and wise Alara, the timekeeper said, you have proven your worthiness. This hourglass holds the power to guide and protect your village. With it, you can restore the magic of the fog and bring harmony to Mistwood. Alara took the hourglass and thanked the timekeeper. With a renewed sense of purpose, she made her way back to Mistwood. As she arrived, she placed the hourglass in the clock tower, and a wave of shimmering light spread throughout the village. The magical fog returned, more vibrant and enchanting than ever before. The villagers were amazed by the transformation and celebrated Alara's bravery and wisdom. The clock tower's chimes rang with a joyful melody, and the fog danced gracefully through the valley. Alara's adventure became a cherished story in Mistwood, a testament to the power of courage, kindness, and wisdom. The village thrived under the magical fog, and Alara lived a life filled with joy and fulfillment, knowing she had helped restore the magic that had once been lost. And so, Mistwood continued to enchant all who visited, and Alara's story was remembered for generations to come. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a tranquil valley surrounded by ancient forests, there was a small village named Willowbrook. The villagers lived in harmony, and their lives were full of simple joys. However, there was one mystery that fascinated everyone: the Midnight Grove, a magical forest that only appeared under the light of a full moon. Legend had it that the Midnight Grove held a secret that could change the lives of those who discovered it. Each full moon, the villagers would catch glimpses of its silver-lit trees and hear enchanting music drifting through the night. But no one had ever ventured into the grove, for it was said to be protected by magical creatures and hidden from ordinary eyes. One evening, as the full moon began to rise, a brave and curious young girl named Alara decided she would solve the mystery of the Midnight Grove. Armed with a lantern and a heart full of courage, she set out to uncover the truth. As she approached the edge of the forest, the moonlight revealed a shimmering path that led directly into the grove. Alara followed the path, feeling a mix of excitement and trepidation. The deeper she went, the more the forest seemed to come alive. Trees sparkled with silver leaves, and flowers glowed with soft, ethereal light. Eventually, Alara reached the heart of the grove, where a beautiful, ancient oak stood towering above all the other trees. Its trunk was adorned with intricate carvings, and a large, glowing key hung from a branch. She approached the oak, her lantern casting gentle shadows on the carvings. As she reached for the key, a gentle voice spoke from behind her. "Welcome, brave one," said a wise old owl perched on a nearby branch. "You are the first in many years to seek the secret of the Midnight Grove." Alara turned and saw the owl, along with a group of tiny fairies with iridescent wings fluttering nearby. The fairies' laughter was like tinkling bells, and they danced around the oak with joyful abandon. "What is the secret of the Midnight Grove?" Alara asked, her eyes wide with wonder. The owl smiled and explained, "The Midnight Grove holds a magical gift, a tree that can grant one true wish to someone who has a pure heart and seeks to help others." Alara's heart raced with excitement. She had always wanted to help her village, which had struggled with a severe drought for many months. The village's crops were failing, and the people were worried about their future. "I wish to restore the land's fertility and bring water back to my village," Alara said earnestly. "Our village is in dire need." The owl nodded and guided Alara to a small, hidden glade within the grove. There, nestled among the roots of a magnificent tree, was a crystal-clear spring. The water sparkled with a magical light. Elara carefully took a small vial of the spring's water and thanked the magical creatures for their help. As she turned to leave, the fairies bestowed a blessing upon her. May your heart remain as pure as the moonlit night, and may your wish bring prosperity to those you love. Returning to Willowbrook, Elara poured the magical water onto the village's parched fields. Miraculously, the soil began to absorb the water, and soon the crops started to grow lush and green. The village's wells and streams were replenished, and the people rejoiced. Elara's bravery and selflessness had not only saved her village but had also fulfilled the Midnight Grove's ancient promise. The village thrived once more, and Elara became a beloved heroine. The Midnight Grove, with its secrets and magic, remained a cherished part of the village's folklore, a reminder of the power of kindness and courage. And so, every full moon, the villagers would gather and tell the story of Elara and the Midnight Grove, passing down the tale to future generations. They knew that the true magic of the grove was not just in the enchanted water but in the heart of the one who dared to wish for the good of others. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where magic whispered through every leaf and pebble, there was a small, enchanted forest known as Sylvan Glade. This forest was no ordinary place. It was a sanctuary of wonder and whimsy where the trees spoke, the flowers sang, and the rivers danced. In this magical forest lived a brave little fox named Felix. Despite his small size, Felix had a heart as large as the tallest oak. He was known throughout the forest for his courage and kindness, often helping the other animals with their troubles. One crisp autumn morning, the forest was stirred by a troubling news. The Moonstone, a gem that balanced the magic of Sylvan Glade, had been stolen. Without the Moonstone, the forest's magic would fade, and the once vibrant realm would wither away. The wise old owl, Orin, called an urgent meeting at the grand oak tree. Felix, with his reddish fur gleaming in the morning sun, was among the first to arrive. Orin, perched on a branch, addressed the concerned animals. The Moonstone has been taken by a dark sorcerer who dwells in the shadowed peaks. We need a brave soul to retrieve it. Felix, will you accept this quest? Felix's eyes sparkled with determination. I will go, he said. I'll bring back the Moonstone and restore our forest. As Felix ventured out of Sylvan Glade, he faced the daunting shadowed peaks. The path was treacherous, filled with swirling mists and eerie shadows. But Felix, guided by courage and a heart full of hope, pressed on. Along the way, he encountered various obstacles. First, a wicked troll guarded a rickety bridge, demanding a toll of golden leaves. Felix, with quick thinking, used his cleverness to outsmart the troll by offering him a golden leaf from a magical tree that never wilted. The troll, enchanted by the leaf, let Felix pass. Next, Felix came across a wailing willow, whose tears formed a river blocking his path. The willow was crying because a mischievous spirit had stolen its laughter. Felix, using his gentle words in a story of joy, helped the willow regain its laughter, and in return, the willow's waters parted, allowing him to cross. Finally, Felix reached the dark sorcerer's lair. The sorcerer, a towering figure cloaked in shadows, sat on a throne of bones. Felix, although frightened, mustered all his courage and approached the sorcerer. I've come for the Moonstone, he declared. The sorcerer, amused by the tiny fox's bravery, decided to test him. If you are truly brave, then you must face my 3 trials, the trial of shadows, the trial of flames, and the trial of mirrors. For the trial of shadows, Felix had to navigate through a labyrinth of darkness. Using his keen senses and the glow of his inner light, he found his way through the maze and emerged victorious. In the trial of flames, Felix had to cross a room ablaze with magical fire. He remembered the enchanted water from the willow and used it to douse the flames, allowing him to pass through unharmed. The final trial, the trial of mirrors, required Felix to confront reflections of his deepest fears. With unwavering resolve and self-belief, he saw through the illusions and remained true to himself, overcoming the trial. Impressed by Felix's bravery and kindness, the sorcerer returned the Moonstone. You have proven yourself worthy, he said. Take the Moonstone and restore the magic of your forest. Felix hurried back to Sylvan Glade, the moonstone glowing warmly in his paws. As he placed it in its rightful place, the forest's magic was instantly restored. The trees shimmered, the flowers sang louder, and the rivers danced with joy. Felix was celebrated as a hero, not just for his bravery but for his kindness and cleverness. He had shown that even the smallest of creatures could achieve great things with a brave heart and a generous spirit. And so, the enchanted forest thrived once more, thanks to the courage of a brave little fox. Felix's story became a legend, reminding everyone that no matter how small or how great, everyone has the power to make a difference. And they all lived happily ever after. The end. Once upon a time, in the charming town of Everbrook, there was a beautiful old carousel in the center of the town square. The carousel was a marvel of craftsmanship, adorned with intricately painted horses and golden trim that sparkled in the sunlight. However, there was something truly magical about this carousel. It only operated at midnight, under the light of the full moon. Legend had it that the carousel was enchanted by a benevolent fairy long ago. The fairy had gifted it with the ability to transport those who rode it to a wondrous realm where dreams came alive. But, as time passed, the magic of the carousel faded from memory, and people thought it was just a beautiful but ordinary attraction. One evening, a curious girl named Alara, who had just moved to Everbrook, noticed the carousel's unusual charm. She had heard the stories from the townsfolk but was skeptical. Determined to discover the truth, Alara decided to stay up and see what happened when the clock struck midnight. As the full moon began its ascent into the night sky, Alara hid behind a nearby statue, waiting with bated breath. At the stroke of midnight, a soft, melodic chime filled the air, and the carousel's golden lights flickered to life. To her astonishment, the horses began to move, their eyes gleaming with a mystical light. Alara hesitated for a moment, then stepped forward and mounted one of the carousel horses. As soon as she did, the world around her began to spin, and she felt a gentle, tingling sensation envelop her. The carousel moved faster and faster, and in the blink of an eye, Alara found herself in a breathtaking new world. She was in a land of wonder, where the skies were painted in shades of pink and gold, and trees bore fruit that glowed with a soft, inner light. The ground was covered in shimmering, silver grass that sparkled with every step. Alara's heart raced with excitement as she dismounted and began to explore this magical realm. As she wandered, she encountered whimsical creatures, talking animals, playful sprites, and even a gentle dragon who offered to show her around. The dragon, named Ember, had scales that glistened like stardust and eyes that twinkled with kindness. Ember led Alara to a grand, crystal-clear lake that reflected the moonlight like a mirror. At the center of the lake was a small island with a magnificent tree that had golden leaves and branches adorned with sparkling fruit. The tree was known as the Wish Tree, and it was said that any wish made under its branches would come true. Alara approached the Wish Tree and closed her eyes, thinking deeply about her one true wish. She wished for her family to find happiness and for the new town of Everbrook to become a place of joy and wonder for everyone. As she opened her eyes, the Wish Tree's golden leaves shimmered, and a soft, melodious voice spoke. "Your wish is selfless and kind, and it shall be granted." Suddenly, the world began to spin again, and Alara found herself back on the carousel in Everbrook. The moon was still high in the sky, and the carousel slowly came to a stop. Alara dismounted, her heart filled with a sense of fulfillment and joy. The next morning, Everbrook woke to find that the town square had transformed. The carousel was now more enchanting than ever, with new, dazzling colors and even more beautiful decorations. The townsfolk gathered, marveling at the transformation. They felt an unexplainable sense of happiness and unity, as if a magical aura had been cast over the town. Alara's family, who had been worried about their new life in Everbrook, found themselves uplifted by the town's newfound spirit. The once quaint town now thrived with a sense of community and wonder, drawing visitors from near and far who came to experience the magic for themselves. The carousel continued to spin its magical tales every night, and Alara became known as the girl who brought enchantment back to Everbrook. She had not only discovered the truth behind the carousel's magic but had also fulfilled a wish that made a world of difference. And so, the town of Everbrook flourished under the glow of the moon and the magic of the carousel. Forever a place where dreams and reality danced together in harmony. Once upon a time, in the heart of the Whispering Forest, there was a small village named Glenwood. The village was known for its lush green meadows and sparkling rivers, but what truly made it magical was the ancient lantern of Luminera that stood in the center of the village square. The lantern was said to hold the power to grant one wish every 100 years. The lantern was a magnificent creation of gold and crystal, with intricate patterns that glowed faintly in the moonlight. Every century, when the lantern's light reached its peak, the villagers gathered to make their wishes, hoping for miracles. One autumn evening, as the 100th anniversary of the lantern's last wish approached, the village was abuzz with excitement. The chosen one to make the wish was to be a young girl named Elara, known for her kindness and bravery. Elara lived with her grandmother, Mira, in a quaint cottage on the edge of the forest. Mira had always told Elara stories of the lantern's magic and the adventures it had brought to their ancestors. Elara dreamed of making a wish for her village, which had recently faced many hardships due to a long drought. As the night of the wish drew nearer, Elara prepared herself for the event. She wore a beautiful gown of silver and blue, and carried a small, handmade lantern that her grandmother had gifted her. Mira had told her that this lantern, though ordinary, was a symbol of her true heart and intentions. The night of the wish arrived with a brilliant full moon casting its glow upon the village. The villagers gathered around the lantern of Luminera, their faces illuminated by its shimmering light. The air was filled with anticipation as the clock struck midnight, signaling the moment for Elara to make her wish. Elara stepped forward, her heart pounding with excitement. She took a deep breath and, with a determined look in her eyes, whispered her wish into the lantern's glowing core. The words were simple but heartfelt. "I wish for the prosperity and happiness of our village, for the drought to end, and for the land to be abundant again." As Elara finished her wish, a gentle breeze swirled around her, carrying with it a soft, melodious chime. The lantern of Luminera glowed brighter, and a beam of light shot up into the sky, creating a stunning aurora that painted the heavens with vibrant colors. The villagers watched in awe as the light from the lantern began to transform the village. The parched fields turned green, the rivers flowed with fresh water, and the trees blossomed with fruit and flowers. It was as though the entire land had been touched by magic. The next morning, the village awoke to find their wish granted. The once dry and barren land was now flourishing with life. The villagers celebrated with joy and gratitude, knowing that Elara's wish had brought a new era of prosperity to Glenwood. Elara's courage and selflessness were celebrated, and she became a beloved figure in the village. She continued to help her people and care for the land, ensuring that the magic of the lantern's wish lived on in every corner of their lives. The lantern of Luminera remained a symbol of hope and wonder for future generations. Though it would be another 100 years before it would grant another wish, its light continued to inspire the hearts of those who believed in the power of dreams and the magic of giving. And so, Glenwood thrived, bathed in the glow of the enchanted lantern, and Elara's story became a cherished legend, passed down through the ages as a testament to the power of a pure heart and a noble wish. The end. Once upon a time, in a serene village by the edge of a vast forest, there lived a young girl named Lyra. Lyra had a gift. She could sing in a way that made flowers bloom and the sky light up with colors. Her melodies were cherished by the villagers, who often gathered to listen to her songs. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the land, Lyra received a mysterious letter. It was written in silver ink on parchment that shimmered like moonlight. The letter spoke of a magical lake hidden deep in the forest, known as the Moonlit Lake. It was said that the lake held a melody so enchanting that it could bring peace to any troubled heart. Intrigued, Lyra decided to find the lake and discover the melody for herself. She set off with a small satchel of provisions and a lantern to guide her through the darkening forest. The path was not easy. The forest was thick with tangled vines and twisting roots. As Lyra ventured deeper, she encountered a mischievous fox named Felix, who was playing with a glowing orb. "Hello, little fox," Lyra greeted. "Do you know the way to the Moonlit Lake?" Felix tilted his head and grinned. I might, but it's not so simple. The forest is enchanted, and only those who show kindness will find the way. Lyra nodded, understanding the challenge. I will help you with your orb if you guide me to the lake. Felix agreed, and together they set off. Along the way, they came across a clearing where a family of birds had built a nest, but the wind had blown it down. Lyra gently helped the birds rebuild their home, and in return, Felix led her to a hidden path. As they continued, they encountered a gnarled old tree with a face etched into its bark. The tree, named Elderwood, spoke in a deep, rumbling voice. To pass, you must answer my riddle. I am taken from a mine, and shut up in a wooden case, from which I am never released, and yet I am used by almost every person. What am I? Lyra thought for a moment and then answered, a pencil. Elderwood's eyes twinkled with approval, and he allowed them to pass. The path grew narrower and more winding, but Felix's glowing orb lit the way. Finally, they reached a moonlit glade where the moonlit lake shimmered like liquid silver. The lake was surrounded by luminescent flowers and glowing fireflies. At its center was a small island with an ancient, ornate harp resting on a pedestal. The air was filled with a soft, soothing hum. Lyra approached the harp and began to play. As her fingers danced across the strings, the melody that emerged was the most beautiful thing she had ever heard. It was as if the music was woven from the very essence of the moonlight and the stars. As Lyra played, the moonlit lake began to glow brighter, and a gentle mist rose from its surface. The mist formed into a delicate, ethereal figure, a spirit of the lake who spoke with a voice like a gentle breeze. Thank you, Lyra, the spirit said. You have awakened the true magic of the lake with your pure heart and beautiful music. The melody of the moonlit lake is meant to heal and bring peace. You are now its guardian. Lyra felt a deep sense of peace and purpose. She played the harp one last time, and the melody spread throughout the forest, touching every corner with its calming influence. The forest itself seemed to sigh with relief as the enchantment brought harmony to the land. Felix and Elderwood congratulated her, and the spirit of the lake bestowed upon Lyra a silver locket, shaped like a crescent moon. This locket will remind you of the magic you have unlocked and the peace you have spread. With the locket around her neck and Felix by her side, Lyra made her way back to the village. The forest seemed brighter and more alive, and the villagers were enchanted by the calming magic that now permeated their home. Lyra continued to share her gift of music, and the melody of the moonlit lake became a cherished part of her songs. The village thrived in peace and harmony, and the magic of the lake lived on through Lyra's melodies. And they lived happily ever after. The end. Once upon a time, in a lush green forest, there stood a mighty oak tree. This tree was home to many animals, but its most special treasure was the little acorn that hung from one of its branches. The little acorn was small but full of dreams. It often looked down at the forest floor and wondered what it would be like to grow into a big, strong tree just like its mother. The other acorns laughed at the little acorn because it was so small and always dreaming. You'll never be as big as the oak tree, they teased. But the little acorn didn't listen to them. It believed in itself and knew that one day, it would be something great. One windy autumn day, the little acorn felt a strong breeze shake the branches of the oak tree. The wind was so powerful that it made the little acorn tremble. Suddenly, the little acorn lost its grip on the branch and began to fall. Down, down, down it tumbled, until it landed softly on the forest floor. The little acorn looked around and saw the tall grass, colorful mushrooms, and even a family of squirrels who lived nearby. Everything seemed so big, and the little acorn felt so small. But instead of being scared, the little acorn whispered to itself, "This is where my journey begins." The days grew shorter, and the air became colder as winter approached. The little acorn was soon covered by fallen leaves, which kept it warm and safe. Beneath the ground, something magical started to happen. The little acorn began to grow roots, and those roots slowly spread out, searching for water and nutrients in the soil. As winter turned to spring, the forest came alive with the sounds of birds chirping and animals waking up from their winter slumber. The little acorn had changed too. From the top of the acorn, a tiny green shoot emerged, reaching for the sunlight. Day by day, the shoot grew taller, until it became a small sapling with leaves of its own. The other plants and trees in the forest were amazed. "Look at that little sapling," they said. "It used to be just a tiny acorn, but now it's growing strong." The little sapling was happy but knew that its journey was far from over. Every day, it stretched its branches higher and dug its roots deeper, drinking in the sunshine and the rain. The sapling faced many challenges: strong winds, heavy rains, and even a hungry rabbit that nibbled at its leaves, but it never gave up. As the years passed, the sapling grew into a young oak tree. It wasn't as tall or as wide as the other trees yet, but it was sturdy and full of life. The animals in the forest came to know the young oak tree and admired its strength and determination. One summer, a terrible storm swept through the forest. The wind howled, and the rain poured down in sheets. The older trees, tall and strong, were shaken to their roots. Some even lost branches, and a few were uprooted entirely. But the young oak tree stood firm, its deep roots holding it steady in the storm. When the storm finally passed, the forest was quiet. The animals peeked out from their shelters and saw the damage the storm had done. But there, standing tall and proud, was the young oak tree. It had survived the storm without losing a single branch. The forest animals gathered around the young oak tree and cheered. "You were just a little acorn, but now you're a mighty oak. You've shown us all that size doesn't matter, it's the strength inside that counts." The young oak tree was filled with pride and joy. It had grown from a tiny acorn into a strong tree, just like it had always dreamed. And though it still had many years of growing ahead, it knew that it would continue to thrive, no matter what challenges came its way. From that day on, the young oak tree stood as a symbol of hope and courage in the forest. Whenever a new acorn fell to the ground, the animals would tell the story of the brave little acorn that never gave up. And as they listened, the new acorns would dream of the day they, too, would grow into strong, mighty oaks. And so, the little acorn story spread through the forest, inspiring every creature, big and small, to believe in themselves and to never give up on their dreams. And that, dear reader, is the tale of the brave little acorn, who grew into a mighty oak tree. The end. Once upon a time, in the peaceful kingdom of Leora, there was a magical forest known as the Enchanted Grove. This forest was famous for its ancient trees that sparkled with silver leaves and the legendary Silver Star, a magical star that granted one wish to those who found it with a heart full of hope and courage. The Silver Star was hidden deep within the forest and could only be revealed on the night of the silver moon, when the moonlight turned the world into a shimmering wonderland. In a charming village at the edge of the forest lived a kind-hearted and adventurous girl named Aria. Aria was known for her bravery and her love of nature. Her best friend was a playful and clever fox named Finn, who had a knack for finding hidden paths and solving puzzles. One evening, as the night of the silver moon approached, Aria and Finn discovered an old, beautifully decorated compass buried under a bed of moss in their garden. The compass had intricate silver engravings and a note that read, "The Enchanted Grove awaits. Follow the compass on the night of the silver moon to find the Silver Star." Excited by the prospect of finding the Silver Star and making a wish, Aria and Finn set out on their journey. The path to the Enchanted Grove was illuminated by the soft, silver light of the moon and the gentle glow of fireflies. As they entered the forest, they were greeted by the enchanting beauty of the moonlit trees and the soothing sounds of the night. However, the path to the Silver Star was guarded by 3 magical challenges. The first challenge was the Crystal Clearing. This was a magical clearing filled with shimmering crystals that reflected the moonlight in dazzling patterns. To pass through, they needed to arrange the crystals in a specific pattern that would reveal the correct path. Finn used his sharp eyes to study the patterns of the crystals, while Aria carefully followed his directions. They arranged the crystals according to the patterns and a hidden pathway was revealed, leading them deeper into the forest. The second challenge was the River of Dreams. This river flowed with sparkling, silver water and was lined with glowing lilies. To cross the river, they needed to solve a riddle spoken by the river's guardian, a graceful, shimmering water spirit. I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I? Arya thought for a moment and then answered, a joke. The water spirit's smile illuminated the river, and a bridge of glowing lilies appeared, allowing them to cross safely. The final challenge was the Maze of Moonlight. In this maze, the walls were lined with silver vines that seemed to shift and change direction. To find their way out, they needed to follow the moonlight that shone through gaps in the vines. With Finn's keen sense of direction and Arya's careful observation, they navigated through the maze and emerged into a serene glade where the silver star awaited. At the center of the glade, bathed in the magical light of the silver moon, floated the silver star, its light shimmering softly. To make their wish, Arya needed to speak her wish aloud with sincerity. Arya approached the silver star and spoke from her heart, I wish for the happiness and prosperity of everyone in Leora. I want to see our village and our land thrive with joy and peace. As Arya's wish was spoken, the silver star's light expanded, and a soft, magical glow spread throughout the enchanted grove and beyond. The moonlight seemed to shine even brighter, and the magic of the silver star touched every corner of Leora, bringing joy and prosperity to all. When Arya and Finn returned to their village, they found it transformed. The fields were lush with crops, the animals were healthy and joyful, and the people were filled with a deep sense of contentment and harmony. The story of Arya and Finn's adventure in the magic of the silver star became a cherished tale in Leora, reminding everyone of the power of hope, courage, and the magic that lies within their hearts. And so, the enchanted grove remained a place of wonder and enchantment, where dreams and wishes came to life under the light of the silver moon. The end. Once upon a time, in a village nestled between rolling hills and shimmering lakes, there was a magical fairground known as Celestial Park. Every night, the park sparkled with fairy lights and the laughter of children. But its most extraordinary attraction was the Starlit Carousel, a grand ride adorned with golden horses and glittering stars that twinkled as though they were alive. Legend had it that the Starlit Carousel had the power to grant one special wish each year to a child who demonstrated true bravery and kindness. However, the carousel's magic had remained dormant for many years, as no child had ever been able to unlock its secret. One evening, a young girl named Luna arrived at Celestial Park. Luna was known for her gentle nature and her unwavering courage. Her village was experiencing a series of misfortunes, crops failing, animals falling ill, and the river that supplied their water was running dry. The villagers were disheartened, and Luna, feeling their pain deeply, decided she would find a way to help. As she walked through the fairground, Luna's eyes were drawn to the Starlit Carousel. Its horses were covered in dust, and its once vibrant lights had dimmed. Determined to help her village, Luna approached the carousel and spoke softly, I need your help to restore our village's prosperity. Please, grant my wish. To her surprise, the carousel's lights flickered and then illuminated the entire fairground. A gentle voice echoed from the carousel, to awaken the magic, you must complete 3 tasks that will test your heart and spirit. Only then will the carousel grant your wish. Luna nodded resolutely. The carousel's first task appeared, a riddle etched in stardust on a golden plaque. It read, I am not alive, but I grow, I don't have lungs, but I need air, I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I? Luna thought carefully, her mind racing through the possibilities. She remembered the village's recent troubles and how important it was to find the right answer to move forward. After pondering, she whispered, a fire. The stardust on the plaque glowed warmly, and the carousel's golden horses began to sparkle more brightly. The second task appeared, a path lined with delicate, glowing lanterns that led into a dark, enchanted forest. With her heart steady and her purpose clear, Luna walked along the path. In the forest, she encountered a lost fox cub, shivering and frightened. Despite the eerie darkness, Luna gently picked up the cub and comforted it, her warmth dispelling the fear. She followed the path until she found a hidden glade where a small, glowing crystal lay on a bed of moss. The crystal was the key to the second task. As Luna picked up the crystal, the forest brightened, and the path back to the carousel was revealed. The final task awaited her, a grand, magical gate that required the correct combination of stars to be aligned to open. Looking at the sky, Luna noticed that the stars seemed to form patterns that resembled the constellations she had studied as a child. With careful observation and intuition, she arranged the stars in the correct order. The gate creaked open, revealing the carousel's center where a small, ancient chest awaited. The chest opened to reveal a golden key. Luna took the key and returned to the carousel. As she inserted the key into the carousel's lock, a brilliant light enveloped the entire fairground. The carousel spun gracefully, its lights glowing with a radiant energy. The magic of the carousel flowed into the village, and overnight, the crops began to flourish, the animals regained their health, and the river's waters surged back to life. The next morning, Luna's village woke up to a scene of wonder. The fields were green and bountiful, the animals were lively, and the river flowed with crystal-clear water. The villagers rejoiced and celebrated Luna's bravery and kindness. The starlit carousel remained a cherished part of Celestial Park, and every year, its light sparkled with renewed magic, reminding all who visited of Luna's incredible journey. And so, the village thrived, and Luna's name was remembered as the girl who brought back hope and prosperity through her pure heart and unwavering courage. And they all lived happily ever after, with the starlit carousel forever shining as a beacon of magic and possibility. Once upon a time, in a picturesque village named Willowbrook, there was a legend about an enchanted locket hidden deep within the Forest of Echoes. It was said that the locket held the power to grant a single wish to anyone who found it, but only if their heart was pure and their intention true. In Willowbrook lived a spirited young girl named Aria. She was known for her kindness and her love for the village's many animals. Aria had grown up hearing tales about the enchanted locket and had always dreamed of finding it to help her village, which had recently fallen on hard times due to a long drought. One day, as Aria was tending to her garden, she noticed a beautiful, shimmering butterfly perched on a flower. The butterfly seemed to beckon her, and as she followed it, she found a small, old map partially buried in the soil. The map had faded ink and was marked with an illustration of the Forest of Echoes and a path leading to a glowing locket. Excited by the discovery, Aria decided to embark on a quest to find the enchanted locket and bring prosperity back to Willowbrook. The villagers, though concerned for her safety, admired her bravery and gave her their blessings. Aria set out early the next morning, following the map's directions into the Forest of Echoes. The forest was known for its mystical properties and its ability to reflect sounds and voices, making it easy to become disoriented. As she ventured deeper, the forest seemed to come alive with whispers and echoes of the past. As Aria navigated through the forest, she encountered a wise old owl named Orion perched on a low branch. Orion's golden eyes shone with ancient knowledge. "Young seeker," he hooted, "what brings you to the heart of the Forest of Echoes?" Aria explained her quest, and Orion, impressed by her noble purpose, decided to guide her. "The forest can be a tricky place. Follow me, and I will help you find your way." Together, they ventured through the dense foliage, solving riddles and avoiding traps set by mischievous forest spirits. They crossed the River of Reflections, where their own reflections spoke words of encouragement and advice. With Orion's guidance, Aria navigated the forest's challenges with growing confidence. After hours of travel, they arrived at a clearing where the moonlight revealed an ancient stone archway. Inscribed on the archway were symbols that matched those on the map. Aria stepped through the archway, and the forest around her began to glow softly, guiding her to a hidden grove. In the center of the grove, bathed in moonlight, was a pedestal with the enchanted locket resting upon it. The locket was adorned with intricate designs and gleamed with a magical aura. Aria approached the locket with reverence, but as she reached for it, a figure emerged from the shadows. The figure was a graceful fairy with wings that shimmered like moonlight. "You have found the locket," the fairy said, her voice like a gentle breeze. "But the locket's magic will only work if your wish is selfless and true." Aria took a deep breath and thought about her village. "I wish for rain to return to Willowbrook, so that our crops may flourish and our people may be happy once more." The fairy smiled, and the locket began to glow brightly. The light enveloped the grove, and the forest seemed to whisper in approval. The fairy waved her hand, and a gentle rain began to fall outside the grove, nourishing the parched land. Arya thanked the fairy and carefully carried the locket back to Willowbrook. As she approached the village, the clouds above parted, and the rain poured down, revitalizing the land and bringing life back to the fields and gardens. The villagers rejoiced at the return of the rain, and Arya was hailed as a hero. They celebrated with a grand feast, and the enchanted locket was placed in a special place in the village square as a symbol of hope and selflessness. Arya's bravery and kindness were remembered for generations, and the story of the enchanted locket and the Forest of Echoes became a cherished tale in Willowbrook. The village flourished, and the magical rain continued to nurture the land, ensuring prosperity for years to come. And so, the village of Willowbrook lived happily ever after, forever grateful for the courageous girl who found the enchanted locket and brought joy back to their lives. The end. Once upon a time, in the mystical land of Astralon, there was a kingdom nestled among the stars. Astralon was a place where the sky met the earth, and every night, the heavens would light up with the most breathtaking display of stars. In the heart of this kingdom, there grew a rare and magical flower known as the starflower. It was said that whoever possessed the starflower would be blessed with eternal wisdom and prosperity. The starflower bloomed only once every 100 years, and the time for its next bloom was approaching. The kingdom eagerly awaited the moment, for the current king, Orion, had grown old and weary, and he needed the wisdom of the starflower to guide his kingdom into a new era of peace and prosperity. Among the people of Astralon was a young girl named Lyra. She was kind-hearted, adventurous, and loved by all who knew her. Lyra had always been fascinated by the tales of the starflower and dreamed of seeing it bloom one day. She often spent her evenings gazing at the stars, imagining the wonders that awaited her in the enchanted forest where the starflower grew. As the time for the starflower's bloom drew near, King Orion announced a great quest. He called upon the bravest and most worthy individuals to journey into the enchanted forest and retrieve the starflower. The one who succeeded would not only bring prosperity to the kingdom but would also be granted one wish. Lyra, filled with determination and excitement, decided to embark on the quest. She knew the journey would be perilous, but her heart was set on seeing the starflower and helping her beloved kingdom. With her parents' blessings and a small satchel of supplies, Lyra set off on her adventure. As she entered the enchanted forest, Lyra encountered a wise old owl named Athos. Perched high in the branches of an ancient tree, Athos greeted her with a gentle hoot. "Young traveler," Athos said, "I see you seek the starflower. The path is fraught with challenges, but I can guide you. Answer my riddle, and I will help you on your way. What has roots as nobody sees, is taller than trees, up it goes, and yet never grows?" Lyra thought for a moment and then replied, "A mountain." Athos nodded approvingly and spread his wings. "Correct. Follow me, and I will lead you to the first trial." Lyra followed Athos deeper into the forest until they reached a crystal-clear lake. By the lake stood a beautiful water nymph named Selene. Her eyes sparkled like the surface of the water, and she greeted Lyra with a warm smile. "To cross this lake," Selene said, "you must show your kindness and empathy. There is a wounded fish trapped among the reeds. Help it, and I will grant you safe passage." Lyra found the fish and gently freed it from the reeds, using herbs from her satchel to heal its wounds. The fish swam away, and Selene, touched by Lyra's kindness, created a path of water lilies across the lake. On the other side of the lake, Lyra encountered a majestic stag named Erinder, the guardian of the starflower. Erinder's antlers glowed with a soft, magical light, and his presence commanded respect. "Brave traveler," Erinder said, "to reach the starflower, you must face your greatest fears. Beyond this point lies the Cave of Shadows, where your deepest fears will manifest. Only those with the purest hearts can pass." Lyra took a deep breath and stepped into the Cave of Shadows. The darkness enveloped her, and visions of her fears began to appear. She saw her loved ones in danger, her village in ruins, and herself lost and alone. But Lyra remembered her purpose and the love she had for her kingdom. She faced each fear with courage and determination, and soon the shadows began to fade. Emerging from the cave, Lyra found herself in a radiant clearing where the starflower stood in full bloom. Its petals shimmered with a celestial light, and the air around it was filled with a soothing, melodic hum. Lyra approached the starflower and carefully picked it, feeling its magic resonate within her. With the starflower in hand, Lyra made her way back to the kingdom. The journey had been long and arduous, but her spirit remained unbroken. As she reached the palace, King Orion greeted her with tears of joy in his eyes. "Lyra," the king said, "you have done a great service to Astralon. You have proven your bravery, kindness, and wisdom. The starflower will bring prosperity to our kingdom, and as promised, you are granted one wish." Lyra thought for a moment and then spoke. "Your Majesty, my wish is for the wisdom and prosperity of the starflower to be shared with all the people of Astralon. Let its magic bring peace and harmony to every corner of our land." The king, deeply moved by Lyra's selflessness, granted her wish. The magic of the starflower spread throughout the kingdom, healing the land and uniting the people. Under the guidance of King Orion and the wisdom of the starflower, Astralon entered a golden age of peace and prosperity. Lyra was celebrated as a hero, and her tale was told for generations to come. The Starflower Princess, they called her, the girl who brought light and harmony to the kingdom with her bravery and pure heart. And so, the kingdom of Astralon thrived, its people living in joy and unity, forever grateful to the young girl who dared to venture into the enchanted forest and retrieve the magical starflower. The end. Once upon a time, in a world where time flowed with a gentle rhythm, there existed a hidden realm known as the Clockwork Kingdom. This kingdom was unique, for everything within it, from the grand castles to the smallest flowers, was made of intricate gears, cogs, and shimmering metals. The kingdom was ruled by the wise and kind Clockmaker King, who ensured that every gear and cog worked in perfect harmony to keep time flowing smoothly. In the Clockwork Kingdom lived a young girl named Elara. Elara was not a princess, but she had a special gift. She could hear the gentle hum of the gears and cogs that made up the kingdom. This gift allowed her to understand the intricate workings of the kingdom's magical machinery. Elara loved the Clockwork Kingdom dearly and spent her days exploring its many wonders. One day, a mysterious problem arose. The Grand Clock Tower, which stood at the heart of the kingdom and was crucial for keeping time, began to slow down. The once steady tick-tock of the clock became irregular, and the gears inside the tower started to grind and seize. Without the Grand Clock Tower functioning properly, time in the kingdom would soon come to a halt, and everything would fall into chaos. The Clockmaker King called upon his best engineers and artisans to solve the problem, but none could fix the malfunction. The king's face grew grave as he realized that the problem might be beyond even their combined skills. Elara, sensing the urgency and knowing she had a special connection with the kingdom's magic, approached the king with determination. "Your Majesty," Elara said, "I believe I can help. I have a gift that allows me to understand the gears and cogs of our kingdom in ways others might not. May I try to solve the problem?" The king, though hesitant, agreed. Elara set off toward the Grand Clock Tower with a heart full of hope and determination. As she approached the tower, she could feel the tension and distress of the gears. She carefully examined the mechanisms, listening to the subtle changes in their hum. In the depths of the clock tower, Elara discovered an ancient, dusty gear that was unlike any she had seen before. It was intricately engraved with mysterious symbols and seemed to be stuck, preventing the other gears from moving smoothly. Elara realized that this ancient gear must be the source of the problem. She carefully cleaned and polished the gear, but it still wouldn't move. Elara remembered a legend about a forgotten spell that could revive ancient magic. According to the legend, the spell required a drop of starlight and a heartfelt wish. Elara knew that she had to find a way to obtain these. As night fell, Elara climbed to the top of the Clockwork Kingdom's tallest tower, where the stars twinkled brilliantly. With her heart full of hope, she made a wish upon the stars, asking them to help restore the magic of the ancient gear. A gentle, shimmering light descended from the sky, touching the gear and filling it with a warm, soothing glow. With the starlight's magic reviving the gear, it began to turn smoothly, and the other gears in the grand clock tower started to move in harmony once more. The clock's hands resumed their steady tick-tock, and the kingdom's time flowed seamlessly again. Elara returned to the clockmaker king, who greeted her with immense gratitude. "You have saved our kingdom, Elara. Your bravery and connection to our magic have restored the harmony we thought we had lost." The king and the people of the Clockwork Kingdom celebrated Elara's success with a grand festival, where the air was filled with the cheerful sound of ticking clocks and the gleaming sparkle of clockwork decorations. Elara was honored as a hero, and the Clockmaker King appointed her as the kingdom's new chief timekeeper, a position that allowed her to continue her work in maintaining the harmony of the kingdom's time. The Clockwork Kingdom thrived once more, its gears and cogs working perfectly in sync. Elara's gift and bravery had preserved the magic and balance of the kingdom, and her tale became a cherished legend. And so, the Clockwork Kingdom continued to shine, its time flowing gracefully and its people living in harmony, thanks to the bravery of one girl who listened to the hum of the gears and followed her heart. The end. Once upon a time, in the lush kingdom of Everwood, there was a serene village called Rivenshire, known for its shimmering silver willow tree that stood at the heart of the village square. This tree was said to possess magical properties, and its silver leaves glowed with a soft, comforting light each night. The villagers believed that as long as the tree flourished, their land would remain blessed with peace and prosperity. In Rivenshire lived a curious and kind-hearted girl named Arya. Arya was fascinated by the mysteries of the silver willow and often spent hours sitting beneath its branches, dreaming of grand adventures. One crisp autumn morning, Arya awoke to find that the tree's glow had dimmed, and its once vibrant leaves had turned dull and lifeless. The village was in turmoil, and the usually joyful atmosphere was clouded with worry. The village elder, a wise woman named Eloise, gathered the villagers and revealed an ancient prophecy: when the silver willow's light fades, it signals the need for a pure-hearted soul to embark on a quest to restore its magic. Only one with a true spirit can uncover the tree's hidden secret and save the land. Determined to help her village, Arya volunteered to undertake this quest. With her faithful companion, a clever raven named Corvus, she set off on a journey to discover the cause of the tree's malaise and to restore its magic. Arya and Corvus ventured into the Whispering Forest, where the trees seemed to murmur ancient secrets. Their first challenge was a deep chasm with no visible way across. As Arya contemplated how to cross, a shimmering figure appeared, a graceful fairy with delicate wings. "To cross this chasm, you must answer my riddle," the fairy said in a melodious voice. "I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have nobody, but I come alive with the wind. What am I?" Arya pondered and then answered, "An echo." The fairy smiled and waved her wand, creating a bridge of sparkling light that spanned the chasm. Arya and Corvus crossed safely and continued their journey deeper into the forest. Soon, they reached a dense thicket where the path was obscured by tangled vines. An old, wise tortoise emerged from the underbrush, watching them with kind eyes. "To pass through this thicket, you must demonstrate wisdom," the tortoise said. "What has a heart that doesn't beat?" Arya thought carefully and then replied, "An artichoke." The tortoise nodded in approval, and the vines parted, revealing a hidden path. As they followed the path, they arrived at a hidden glade where the silver willow stood, but its branches were entangled in dark, twisting vines. At the center of the glade was an ancient, gnarled tree with a dark aura. The tree was guarded by a menacing figure, a sorcerer named Malvern, who had cast a spell to drain the silver willow's magic for his own gain. "You cannot save the silver willow," Malvern sneered. "Its magic is mine now." Arya stood her ground, her heart pounding but her spirit unwavering. The silver willow's magic belongs to the land and its people. It should be used to bring light and joy, not for selfish desires. Malvern raised his staff, ready to strike, but Corvus swooped down and pecked at the sorcerer's hand, causing him to drop his staff. In the ensuing struggle, Arya found the source of the dark spell, a cursed crystal embedded in the ancient tree. With a burst of courage, she removed the crystal and shattered it with a powerful strike. As the cursed crystal broke, the dark vines receded, and the silver willow began to glow with a radiant light. The tree's branches unfurled, and its leaves shimmered with renewed brilliance. The magic of the willow spread throughout the glade, dispelling the darkness and restoring peace to the land. With the silver willow's light restored, Arya and Corvus returned to Rivenshire. The villagers greeted them with joy and celebration, grateful for their bravery and perseverance. The silver willow was once again the heart of the village, its glow a symbol of hope and harmony. Arya's name became a legend in Rivenshire, and her story was told for generations as a reminder of the power of courage, wisdom, and a pure heart. And so, the village of Rivenshire thrived, bathed in the soft, comforting light of the silver willow, living happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a faraway cloud, there lived a little raindrop named Drizzle. Drizzle was not like the other raindrops. While the others were content to stay in the cloud and wait for their turn to fall to earth, Drizzle was full of curiosity. It often looked down at the world below, wondering what it would be like to visit all the exciting places it could see from the sky. "Why do you want to leave?" asked Splash, one of the bigger raindrops. "The cloud is safe and cozy. There's no need to go anywhere." "But don't you wonder what's down there?" Drizzle replied, pointing toward the mountains, forests, and rivers far below. "I want to see the tall trees, the sparkling rivers, and the colorful flowers." The other raindrops shook their heads. "It's dangerous down there," they said. "You don't know what will happen if you leave the cloud." But Drizzle's curiosity was too strong. One day, when the wind blew gently through the sky, Drizzle decided it was time to go on an adventure. It closed its eyes, took a deep breath, and leaped out of the cloud. Down, down, down Drizzle fell, through the cool air, feeling the wind rush past. As Drizzle neared the ground, it saw a beautiful green forest. The trees were tall and majestic, their leaves rustling in the breeze. Drizzle was thrilled and couldn't wait to explore. It landed softly on a leaf, bouncing gently before settling down. "Hello there," said a friendly voice. Drizzle looked around and saw a tiny caterpillar crawling on the same leaf. "Hi," Drizzle replied. "I'm Drizzle. I just came from the sky. What is this place?" "This is my home," said the caterpillar. "It's a big, wonderful forest full of life. The trees are our guardians, and the plants and flowers are our friends." Drizzle was amazed. The forest was even more beautiful up close than it had imagined. But as the day went on, something strange began to happen. The sun came out, shining brightly in the sky. Drizzle started to feel warm, too warm. It began to shrink. "Oh no!" Drizzle cried. "What's happening to me?" The caterpillar looked at Drizzle and said, "You're evaporating. When the sun gets hot, water like you turns into vapor and floats back up into the sky." Drizzle was scared. "But I don't want to disappear. I haven't seen everything yet." "Don't worry," the caterpillar said with a gentle smile. "You won't disappear forever. You'll just change form. And who knows? You might return to the earth as a raindrop again one day." As the sun's warmth continued to pull Drizzle upward, it began to feel light as a feather. Slowly, it rose into the sky, turning into vapor. Drizzle floated higher and higher until it became part of a new cloud, drifting across the sky once more. Back in the cloud, Drizzle met other raindrops who had gone on similar adventures. They shared stories of where they had fallen, some into oceans, some onto mountains, and others into rivers and lakes. Each raindrop had a unique story, and Drizzle listened eagerly, imagining all the places it could visit next. Time passed, and one day, the wind began to stir the clouds again. Drizzle knew what this meant. It was time for another adventure. This time, Drizzle wasn't scared. It knew that no matter what happened, it would always come back to the sky, ready for a new journey. When the wind finally pushed the cloud across a wide desert, Drizzle decided to jump again. Down it fell, through the warm air, until it landed on the soft sand. The desert was hot and dry, with golden dunes stretching as far as the eye could see. Drizzle saw a small flower struggling to grow in the dry sand. It was wilting under the harsh sun. Without hesitation, Drizzle rolled down the sand and nestled at the base of the flower, giving it a much-needed drink of water. "Thank you, little raindrop," the flower whispered. "You saved me." Drizzle smiled, feeling proud. It may have been small, but it had made a big difference. As the sun rose higher, Drizzle knew it would soon evaporate again. But this time, it wasn't afraid. It had learned that every drop of water has its own important role to play in the world, whether in the sky, the forest, or even the desert. As Drizzle floated back up into the sky, it looked down at the earth with a sense of wonder. There were so many places to explore and so many ways to help. Drizzle realized that its curiosity had led it to discover the true beauty of the world and its place in it. And so, Drizzle continued to fall and rise, over and over again, each time in a new place, each time learning something new. The little raindrop that had once been curious and scared had now become brave and wise, ready for whatever adventure awaited next. The end. Once upon a time, in the picturesque kingdom of Evergreen, there was a hidden sanctuary known as the Glimmering Grove. This grove was famous for its radiant, moonlit flowers in the Heartstone, a magical gem said to grant one wish to those who approached it with a heart full of love and kindness. The Heartstone was concealed deep within the grove and was only revealed during the night of stars, when the sky was filled with shimmering constellations. In a cozy cottage on the edge of Evergreen lived a gentle and imaginative girl named Amelia. Amelia was beloved in her village for her kindness and her love of animals. Her best friend was a curious and clever rabbit named Thistle, who was known for his quick thinking and ability to find hidden paths. One evening, as the night of stars approached, Amelia and Thistle discovered a beautifully crafted, silver locket buried beneath a flowering vine in their garden. Inside the locket was a sparkling, crystal key and a note that read, "The Glimmering Grove awaits. Use this key on the night of stars to unlock the Heartstone's magic." Excited by the prospect of finding the Heartstone and making a wish, Amelia and Thistle set out on their journey under the starlit sky. The path to the Glimmering Grove was bathed in the soft light of the stars, guiding them deeper into the forest. As they entered the grove, they were greeted by the magical beauty of the moonlit flowers and the soothing sound of a gentle breeze. However, the path to the Heartstone was guarded by 3 enchanting challenges. The first challenge was the Bridge of Lanterns. This was a bridge made of glowing lanterns that floated above a sparkling river. The lanterns shifted and changed color, and they needed to follow the correct sequence to cross the bridge. Thistle used his sharp eyes to observe the patterns of the lanterns, while Amelia carefully followed his directions. They made their way across the bridge, which shimmered brightly as they stepped on the correct lanterns. On the other side of the river, they faced the second challenge, the Labyrinth of Echoes. They entered a maze of tall, whispering hedges that seemed to change direction as they moved. To find their way out, they needed to listen carefully to the whispers and follow the correct echoes. Amelia and Thistle worked together, with Thistle's keen ears guiding them through the maze. After navigating the twists and turns, they emerged into a serene glade where the Heartstone stood, glowing softly in the moonlight. The final challenge was the riddle of the Heartstone. At the center of the glade stood the Heartstone, surrounded by a ring of glowing flowers. To make their wish, they needed to solve a riddle spoken by the Heartstone itself. "I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water can be my friend. What am I?" Amelia thought deeply about the riddle and then answered with a smile, "A flame." The Heartstone's light grew brighter, and a soft, warm glow enveloped them. Amelia and Thistle approached the Heartstone, and Amelia spoke her wish from the heart, "I wish for the happiness and prosperity of everyone in Evergreen. I want to see our village and our land thrive with joy and peace." As Amelia's wish was spoken, the Heartstone's glow expanded, and the magic of the gem spread throughout the Glimmering Grove and beyond. The stars in the sky twinkled more brightly, and a gentle breeze carried the Heartstone's magic across the kingdom. When Amelia and Thistle returned to Evergreen, they found their village transformed. The fields were lush and green, the animals were healthy and joyful, and the people were filled with a deep sense of contentment and harmony. The tale of Amelia and Thistle's adventure and the magic of the Glimmering Grove became a cherished story in Evergreen, reminding everyone of the power of love, kindness, and selfless wishes. And so, the Glimmering Grove remained a place of wonder and enchantment, where dreams and wishes came to life under the light of the stars. The end. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom called Valoria, there was a village nestled in the shadow of the misty mountains. The villagers lived in harmony, surrounded by lush forests and crystal-clear streams. In the heart of the village stood a grand castle, home to King Alaric and his daughter, Princess Evelina. Princess Evelina was known throughout the land for her kindness and her adventurous spirit. She loved to explore the forests, help the villagers, and listen to the stories of the kingdom's wise old storyteller, Granny Willow. Granny Willow's tales of magic and adventure always filled Evelina with wonder, but there was one story that captivated her more than any other: the legend of the enchanted locket and the dragon's heart. According to the legend, the enchanted locket was a magical artifact that could grant its wearer immense power and wisdom. The locket was said to contain the dragon's heart, a gem of unimaginable strength, created by the first dragon of Valoria. However, the locket had been lost for centuries, hidden somewhere in the misty mountains, guarded by an ancient dragon named Zephyra. One crisp autumn evening, as Evelina listened to Granny Willow recount the legend once more, she felt a surge of determination. "I will find the enchanted locket and bring it back to Valoria," she declared. "With its power, we can ensure peace and prosperity for our kingdom." Granny Willow smiled, her eyes twinkling. "It is a dangerous quest, my dear. But if anyone can succeed, it is you. Remember, true strength lies not in power, but in the purity of your heart." The next morning, Evelina set off on her journey. She packed a small satchel with provisions, a map of the kingdom, and a locket that had belonged to her mother, a token of love and courage. As she ventured into the misty mountains, she encountered many challenges. The paths were treacherous, the winds howled fiercely, and the air grew colder with each step. After several days, Evelina reached the entrance of a dark cave, where she encountered a clever fox named Felix. "Greetings, Princess," said Felix, bowing his head. "I am the guardian of this cave. What brings you here?" "I seek the enchanted locket," Evelina replied, her voice unwavering. "I must find it to help my kingdom." Felix studied her with his sharp eyes and nodded. "Very well. I will guide you through the cave, but you must prove your worth by solving my riddle." Evelina nodded, ready for the challenge. Felix recited his riddle: "I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with wind. What am I?" Evelina thought for a moment, then smiled. "An echo." Felix grinned. "Correct, Princess. Follow me." The clever fox led Evelina through the winding tunnels of the cave. They crossed underground rivers, climbed over rocky ledges, and finally emerged into a vast cavern. At the center of the cavern lay a massive dragon, her scales shimmering in shades of blue and silver. Zephyra opened one eye and regarded Evelina with curiosity. "Who dares to enter my domain?" "I am Princess Evelina of Valoria," she replied, stepping forward. "I seek the enchanted locket to bring peace to my kingdom." Zephyra's eyes glinted with ancient wisdom. "Many have sought the locket, but few have the heart to wield its power. You must prove yourself by facing the trial of the heart." With a wave of her massive claw, Zephyra conjured a glowing portal. Evelina took a deep breath and stepped through, finding herself in a magical realm filled with challenges. She faced trials that tested her courage, her kindness, and her wisdom. She helped a lost child find their way home, healed a wounded deer, and solved puzzles that required both intellect and compassion. After completing the trials, Evelina found herself back in the cavern. Zephyra nodded approvingly. "You have proven your worth, Princess. The enchanted locket is yours." Zephyra revealed a hidden alcove where the locket lay, glowing with a soft, golden light. Evelina carefully picked it up, feeling its warmth and power. "Thank you, Zephyra. I will use this gift wisely." With the locket in hand, Evelina returned to Valoria. The villagers and King Alaric welcomed her with cheers and tears of joy. Using the power of the dragon's heart, Evelina brought prosperity and harmony to the kingdom. Crops flourished, rivers flowed abundantly, and the people lived in peace. The legend of the enchanted locket and the dragon's heart became a cherished story, told by Granny Willow to future generations. Princess Evelina's bravery and wisdom were celebrated throughout the land, and Valoria thrived under her benevolent rule. And so, in the shadow of the misty mountains, where the stars shone brightly and the dragons watched over the land, the kingdom of Valoria lived happily ever after, forever grateful to their courageous princess. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between whispering woods and shimmering lakes, there was a clockmaker named Elara. Her shop was a cozy place filled with clocks of all sizes and shapes, each one ticking in harmonious rhythm. Elara was known far and wide for her magical touch with timepieces, but few knew that her skills were far beyond mere craftsmanship. One crisp autumn morning, as golden leaves danced in the breeze, a stranger in a shimmering cloak entered Elara's shop. His eyes sparkled with a curious blend of wisdom and mischief. "Greetings, clockmaker," he said, his voice smooth like silk. "I have heard of your remarkable talent. I need your help with a special request." Elara looked up from her workbench, intrigued. "What kind of request?" The stranger placed an old, dusty pocket watch on the counter. It was ornate, with intricate engravings of stars and moons, but it had long since stopped ticking. "This watch belongs to a dear friend of mine," he explained. "It holds a secret that needs to be unlocked. I believe you are the only one who can do it." Elara examined the watch closely. The more she looked, the more she felt a strange sense of familiarity. "I'll do my best," she said, and the stranger nodded, disappearing as mysteriously as he had arrived. As Elara worked through the day and into the night, she discovered that the pocket watch was not an ordinary timepiece. It had hidden mechanisms that seemed almost alive, responding to her touch in unexpected ways. The watch held a hidden compartment that contained a small, ancient key. The next morning, Elara used the key to unlock a tiny drawer hidden behind a panel in the shop's wall. Inside, she found a map with a trail leading deep into the whispering woods. The map was old and faded, but the path was marked with strange symbols and golden stars. Curiosity sparked, Elara decided to follow the map. She packed a small bag with essentials and set off on her adventure. The whispering woods were known for their magical aura, where trees whispered secrets and shadows danced in the moonlight. Guided by the map, Elara ventured deeper into the forest, her heart racing with excitement and a hint of fear. After a few hours of walking, she arrived at a clearing bathed in the soft glow of twilight. In the center of the clearing stood an ancient oak tree with a hollow trunk. The map indicated that this was the destination. Elara approached the tree and noticed that the watch fit perfectly into a small indentation in the trunk. As she placed the watch inside, the tree's bark began to glow, revealing a hidden door. She pushed the door open and found a spiral staircase leading down into a hidden chamber. The chamber was filled with shimmering light and the soft hum of magic. At its center stood a pedestal with a magnificent clock, its hands frozen at midnight. Around the clock were 4 golden orbs, each representing a different element: earth, air, fire, and water. As Elara approached the clock, she felt a gentle pull, guiding her to place the pocket watch in the center of the pedestal. The moment she did, the clock began to tick again, its hands moving slowly but steadily. The orbs floated above the clock, each one glowing brightly and casting a rainbow of colors around the room. Suddenly, the air filled with a soothing melody, and a figure emerged from the shadows, a beautiful spirit with flowing robes and a serene smile. She was the guardian of time, bound to protect the balance of the magical world. "Thank you, brave clockmaker," the spirit said. "You have restored the heart of time. This clock is not just a timepiece, it is a beacon of harmony that keeps the world in balance. By repairing it, you have ensured that time flows smoothly and the magic remains alive." Elara felt a sense of awe and accomplishment. "But why me? Why did the watch choose me?" The spirit smiled gently. Your kindness, skill, and courage have shown that you are worthy. The watch was a test of your spirit, and you have proven yourself." With that, the spirit waved her hand, and Elara found herself back in her shop, the pocket watch now ticking steadily on the counter. The mysterious stranger returned, his eyes twinkling with gratitude. "You have done well," he said. "The watch is now a symbol of the balance you have restored. Thank you for your bravery." Elara smiled as the stranger disappeared once more. The village continued to flourish, and Elara's shop remained a place of wonder, where time was cherished and magic thrived. And so, Elara lived happily, knowing that she had played a vital role in the enchanted world, where time and magic intertwined in perfect harmony. The end. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where the skies were painted with stars and the moonlight danced across silver lakes, there was a hidden valley known as Etheria. This valley was blessed with a wondrous feature, a bridge made entirely of stardust. Each night, the bridge shimmered with 1,000 colors, connecting the realm of the ordinary with the land of dreams. In a quaint village at the edge of Etheria, lived a curious young girl named Leora. Leora loved gazing at the stars and often wondered what lay beyond the starry bridge. The villagers spoke of magical beings and enchanted lands, but no one had ever ventured across the bridge and returned to tell the tale. One evening, as the sky turned a deep indigo and the first stars began to twinkle, Leora decided it was time to uncover the secrets of the bridge. She packed a small bag with essentials, a lantern, a notebook, and a piece of honey cake her grandmother had baked. With a heart full of excitement and a touch of trepidation, she set off towards the glittering bridge. As Leora stepped onto the bridge, she felt a tingling sensation beneath her feet. The stardust was warm and soft, like stepping onto a cloud. The bridge sparkled with every step she took, and she marveled at how it seemed to pulse with the rhythm of the night. The journey across the bridge was enchanting. The stardust beneath her shimmered in hues of violet and gold, and the air was filled with the soft melodies of celestial music. As Leora approached the end of the bridge, she noticed a magnificent castle floating in the air, surrounded by clouds that sparkled like diamonds. This was the realm of dreams, a place where imagination and reality danced together. Upon reaching the castle, Leora was greeted by a graceful fairy named Lyra. Lyra had wings that glowed like moonlight and a crown of twinkling stars. "Welcome to the dream realm," Lyra said with a warm smile. "I am Lyra, and I've been expecting you." Leora was taken aback. "You were expecting me?" Lyra nodded. "Yes, the stars have whispered of your arrival. We need your help, Leora. Our dream realm is in trouble. The Dream Stone, which powers our world and keeps dreams alive, has been stolen by the Shadow of Woe." Leora's eyes widened. "The Shadow of Woe? What can I do to help?" Lyra's expression was serious but hopeful. "The Shadow of Woe resides in the gloomy cavern, deep within the forest of forgotten dreams. To retrieve the Dream Stone, you must face 3 challenges that test your courage, wisdom, and kindness." Without hesitation, Leora agreed to help. Lyra gave her a magical compass that would guide her through the forest and offered a piece of moonlight to light her path. With a determined heart, Leora set off on her quest. The forest of forgotten dreams was a maze of twisted trees and misty pathways. The first challenge awaited her, a giant, sleeping dragon guarding a shimmering key. Leora had to solve a riddle to awaken the dragon without frightening it. The riddle was, what can you hold in your left hand but not in your right? Leora thought for a moment and answered, your right hand. The dragon, pleased with her answer, gave her the key and wished her well. The second challenge was a puzzle made of floating, glowing stones that formed a bridge over a chasm. Leora had to arrange the stones in the correct pattern to cross safely. With patience and careful observation, she figured out the pattern and made it across. The final challenge was the most daunting, a test of kindness. The Shadow of Woe had transformed the forest creatures into gloomy, despairing beings. Leora had to lift their spirits by sharing stories of hope and joy. As she spoke of her village and the wonders of the starry bridge, the creatures began to smile and regain their light. Even the Shadow of Woe felt a change in its heart. When Leora reached the gloomy cavern, she found the Dreamstone hidden in a dark, cold corner. As she reached for it, the shadow of woe appeared, its form flickering with sadness and anger. Leora took a deep breath and spoke kindly to the shadow. "I know you're not truly wicked. You've been lonely and forgotten. Let us help you find joy again." The shadow of woe's dark form began to soften. With Leora's encouragement, the shadow transformed back into a gentle spirit. It revealed that it had stolen the Dreamstone out of desperation, hoping to be remembered. Leora offered her friendship and promised that it would always have a place in the dream realm. With the Dreamstone in hand, Leora returned to the castle. The Dreamstone was restored to its rightful place, and the dream realm once again shimmered with vibrant colors and joyful dreams. Lyra and the other inhabitants of the realm celebrated Leora's bravery and kindness. As a token of their gratitude, Lyra granted Leora a special gift, a small vial of stardust that would allow her to visit the dream realm whenever she wished. Leora thanked Lyra and the inhabitants of the dream realm before making her way back across the starry bridge. When she returned to her village, Leora shared her adventure with the villagers, inspiring them with stories of the dream realm and the magic of the starry bridge. And each night, as she gazed up at the stars, she knew that the bridge was not just a path between worlds but a symbol of the magic that lies in the courage and kindness of a single heart.